Barnsley Aberdeen against Hibernian, and that's our live commentary match here on Sports Sound right now with Willie Miller, John Hughes and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Richard. Another big game in the Premiership this Sunday. Two of Scotland's biggest clubs, Aberdeen and Hibernian, both still searching for their first league wins of the season. Barry Robson talking very positively pre-match, but the reality is it's just one win in 6 games this season, 2 in their last 11 since beating Rangers here back in April, stretching back to last season. They need to start getting results to go with some flashes of good performances. And I've seen very much goes for Hibernian. Already a manager down with Lee Johnson departing. No wins on the board, rock bottom of the table. There's been investment in this squad. The consensus is they've got quality, certainly middle to front. And it's time that they as well started showing what they're all about. It is a beautiful day here in the Granite City. Very warm, and the players will have the work cut out in this heat as Aberdeen prepare to take a kick-off. Shooting from left to right as we stand in the main stand towards the Merkland Road end, where the ultras are crouched making a racket. Aberdeen get things underway as Jamie McGrath just lashes it forward straight to Lewis Stevenson. Aberdeen with Roos in goal, McDonald, Rubezic, Jensen back 3, Devlin and McGarry the wing back, Shinnie, Barron, McGrath midfield, Miofsky and Duke up front. Hibs with Marshall in goal, back 4 of Fish, Hanlon, Stevenson, Miller, midfield of Jago, Newell and Campbell, and then Boyle and Yuan either side of Dylan Vente, the Dutchman, up front. Willie Miller alongside me.
Can I say I'm baffled with that kick-off? Aberdeen lined up with 4 players on the left-hand side. Put it back to McGrath, who played it to the one player on the right-hand side, and he didn't actually pass it to him either. He just gave possession away to Hibs. That's quite incredible. I wonder what the thought was behind that.
Then it was a lazy swipe of the ball from Jamie McGrath, and here's David Marshall. The ball in his gloves in his own box, flings it out to the far side, right-hand side with Lewis Miller. Back in the right-back berth. Was very much unfavoured by Lee Johnson before he felt he had to throw him in at right-back when Alan Delferrier, the midfielder, deputised there and didn't do too well, as you might expect. Header won by McDonald to McGrath. Aberdeen cross halfway. And come forward, here's Shinnie, 25 yards out. Out to Duke. McGrath chopping into the middle, header from Devlin inside the 6-yard box, flick of the neck muscles, and he's put it over the. What a chance.
It was. I mean, it looked as though it was going to nestle in the back of the net there. It was good play. McGrath to start, well, Duke to McGrath, and then McGrath on the byline, managing to get the cross in, and Devlin coming in from the right hand side. He's right in the penalty area there. He's only about 4 or 5 yards out. He gets his head on it, but somehow it comes off the top of his head and goes over the crossbar. Big opportunity early in the game, gone a begging for Aberdeen.
Well, Nicky Devlin showed, even when he was playing at right centre half, he's very keen to get forward. Scored, of course, away in Hacken his first Aberdeen goal. The equaliser as Graham Shinnie is fouled by Joe Newell on halfway, and Aberdeen will get a free kick. They take it quickly through Barron, but the referee, David Munro, isn't happy, and it wasn't taken on the spot, and he is going to send this one back. John Hughes looking forward to seeing what Hibs can do this afternoon.
Yeah, I certainly am, especially Vente up front. You know, I've heard a lot about him. He's technically very good. He can score goals, and I'm just looking at the shape. It's Josh Campbell that's playing behind him, another one that has got a habit of scoring goals. So, as I said before the game, very adventurous from David Gray.
Switch to the right-hand side in Devlin. Lewis Stevenson marshalled them closely and got a good challenge in on the byline. Manages to keep the ball in, plays it up to Yuan, who's midway through his own half. He's tackled by Rubezic, and it'll be an Aberdeen throw, which Nicky Devlin will take, and he flings it to Duke, and the ball doesn't reach Duke because Jimmy Jago read it, came across and cleared back out on this near side. And Rubezic rolls it to Devlin to take, and all Hibs not got a great record at Pittodrie, not won on their last 4 visits here, just 1 win in 14. Not a place they like to come, and it is Aberdeen who've been on the front foot in the first few minutes. Here's McGrath, receives a throw in. Shinnie, right hand corner of the box, takes a touch in field. McGrath picks up, he's going to work the space for the shot. Now he goes for the little pass but it's cut out by Hibernian, and there's two Aberdeen players, Shinnie and McGrath, run into each other, and there's a foul as well.
Yeah, I have to say, Thomas, even watching the game on television on Wednesday night, I was really impressed with Aberdeen's energy levels, and I'm saying to myself today, can they reach these levels again? We'll soon find out.
Well, one of Barry Robson's buzzwords is speed. He likes speed and energy in his team. He's certainly a physical side he's assembled when you just look at them lining up on the pitch. A lot of big players out there, and it's going to be a throw in to Aberdeen down deep in their own territory as they look to get forward to Tawdry, bathed in sunshine. Glorious day here. Throw up the line. Hibs win it through Stevenson, drops for Jego midway through the Aberdeen half, goes down under the challenge of Miofsky, and he gets the free kick, much to Bojan Miofsky's fury.
He bought the free kick there. It's not a free kick. I mean, he's diving before there's any contact, so I think that in itself tells you the story. But they have got that free kick. It gives us an early opportunity to put it into the box, John.
Yeah, and they're big. If you look at them, you know, with Hanlon in there, Fish in there, you know, you're talking about 6'2", 6'3".
It's going to be Newell with the left foot. Oh no, he dummies it, leaves it for Boyle with the right foot into the middle of the edge of the 6-yard box. It's very central, and it's headed away by Aberdeen. Barron then plays it up the line to Duke, who's just over the halfway line. He's going to keep it in on this near touchline. He's running at Lewis Stevenson. He's not got much support, Duke, and he puts the head down and crosses, but falls for Shinnie on the edge of the box. Dummies, forced to twist back, and then a good strong tackle from Jimmy Jego, and then another big tackle goes in from McGarry to win it back midway through the Hibs half. Spread out to Duke, right hand corner of the box. He's got space to cross. Duke, it's deflected off Lewis Stevenson, and it came back off Duke, so that'll be a Hibs throw in.
Yeah, Thomas, that Duke played in down the right, and he cut it back in the edge of the box. It fell to Shinnie. Lo and behold, it's on his right foot. That's for standing on. He tried to switch it on his left, and he got caught on it.
Indeed, he did. Hibs, Duke opted to just put his head down and cross that. I thought he might have had a little run at Lewis Stevenson, because it was 1-on-1 down this right hand side. Throw into Hibs towards Yuan, won by Devlin. Miofsky controls on the chest. Good challenge from Hanlon. Up to Vente, flicks around the corner for Yuan, but it's back by Rubicic. Header by Fish up to midway through his own half. Barron got a touch on it, but it's just very scrappy, and eventually Vente comes away with it, crosses halfway, gives it to Yuan on this left-hand side for Hibs. He's thinking about running it. Devlin goes inside. He's got 3 red shirts around him, and eventually Devlin makes a good sliding tackle, and then he's played it up the right-hand touchline, but Duke is not going to get there. Paul Hanlon gets there first and plays it back to David Marshall. 0-0, 7 played here at Pittodrie.
Yeah, that's going to be a real battle today, Johan against Devlin. You don't get much change out of Devlin, but Johan, you know, he's got the ability. If he's on his game, you know, he can be the match winner.
Absolutely. Did just that out in Luzerne. Goal and fantastic assist.
It'll be interesting to see the tactics, though, John. You know, if you look at Aberdeen now, although they set up with the 3 at the back, it's now 4 because of the way that Hibs play with the 2 wide players and the one through the middle. And there's a question mark there where McGarry goes, but McGarry seems to be in almost in a midfield position, with Jensen playing almost left back.
Yeah, and they've matched it up in midfield. You know, so once again, tactics, something that can win you a game, but it's basically, it's, you know, that individual or a bit of skill, a bit of magic. You know, if you're always in the game, who can come up with the goods?
Hanlon tries a long switch out to the right hand side with a left foot, but Boyle was infield, and it was asking a lot of him, even with his pace to get there. Throw into Aberdeen on the far side. Goalless as we approach the 8th minute mark here at Pittodrie. Both sides desperate for that first Premiership win of the season, and it's been lively. McGarry's flick on, Duke tries to control it, but Fish gets in with a little prod forward up to halfway, and then Newell's battling with Shinnie, and the Hibs midfielder's going to get the free kick, I think.
He should actually stop it.
Stop it,
because he impedes Shinnie. The referee impedes Shinnie.
Yeah.
So surely he's got to stop the play when that
a bounce
happens.
ball,
And I'm sure that's what Graham Shinnie is pointing out to the ref.
Yeah, it was a bounce ball, and it's gone back to Hanlon. Fish, Hibs with the ball at the back. No clean sheet this season in 10 games for Hibernian. That has been their Achilles heel. Keeping the ball out the net. They've scored plenty, albeit not against the might of Aston Villa in the Conference League, but I think you can let them off with that one, given that financial disparity and therefore quality disparity between those sides, as Yuan has a little flick as he receives the ball just inside his own half and he's tripped by Devlin. That'll be a Hibernian free kick just inside their own half. And Hibernian not had a lot of ball in Aberdeen's territory so far. That one free kick really, which didn't come to anything. This is a chance to try and get their foot on the ball as Newell prods it back to Hanlon, who's played nearly every game this season already. Left foot, switch of play right out to Boyle on the right hand touchline. Boyle jumps and gets a head on it, and he's going to keep it in at the second attempt and gets the foul off McGarry, who looks utterly bemused at the linesman. Flag went up straight away, and it's going to be a Hibs free kick up towards the corner flag on the right hand side.
Yeah, that's great play from Boyle, because as you say, it was a great diagonal, but he was struggling to keep it in play. He got his head on it and used his physical presence just to bump McGarry. Buys himself a free kick.
Yeah, Newell and Boyle will debate as to who's going to take this from the far side. Hibs got plenty of bodies in the box. Yuan's in there, Fish, Hanlon, Stevenson's back, Jego's on the edge of the area, and it's going to be the left foot of Joe Newell to whip this in right on top of Kel Roos. There's a header just over the bar. Will Fish, I think, got his forehead on that one, and that was a good chance for Hibs.
Yeah, certainly Will Fish has got his hands on his head there. As you say, it's all about their delivery. If you put that in, then Hibs have got a chance of scoring. I see them causing real problems today at any kind of set piece, as long as the quality into the box is very, very good.
Listen, it's a good cross into the box, but dearie me, it's the biggest, tallest man in the field probably. He's got to be picked up. Somebody's got to make a physical challenge with him. That doesn't happen. He gets a header. He's disappointed that he doesn't get it in target. It just goes over the bar.
Well, Kel Roos has just shelled his goal kick on top of the Pittodrie dugouts in front of us, and he did have a couple of those against Hacken on Thursday night where his distribution wasn't the best. There's a bit of a breeze, but no real excuse for that one. It's now back with the Hibs keeper David Marshall. He's got the ball at the edge of the D, and Duke goes to close him down, and the former Scotland keeper launches it long. Rubizic is underneath it, heads it up. Campbell gets his head on it, finds Yuan, takes a touch, just about keeps it in, and then Rubizic came across to make the challenge, out for a throw-in on this left-hand side for Hibs. Stevenson looks for options. Stevenson throws in, gets it back from Campbell, gives it to Yuan. He's under pressure, Barron gets a foot in, and then it's cleared down into the Hibs half. Hanlon picks up. No real patterns of play or teams getting their foot on the ball regularly at this moment in time, Willie.
Well, I think Aberdeen will be disappointed that they haven't had control of the ball in the game, to be perfectly honest. I think Hibs are looking the calmer and the more composed. So far it is still early in the game, right enough, but I would have expected Aberdeen to try to play the high tempo, high press game and take the game to Hibs. That certainly hasn't happened.
Here's Stevenson, takes it from Yuan's throw. He's got a little bit of space. Stevenson thinks about the cross, checks back inside, gives it to Yuan, who's up towards the edge of the Aberdeen box, but he loses out, and here's Miofsky coming away from it. He goes round Joe Newell, who gets back and puts a good challenge in. In fact, it's not a good challenge according to the referee David Monroe. No, it is a good challenge. It looked like he'd blown the whistle there, but it's play on. Hibs have it with the back with Jego. That was a good tackle from Joe Newell, got back after he'd been beaten initially by Miofsky. And here's Fish, switch of play, and Yuan's gone in behind. He's run off the shoulder of Rubizic, who's turned, and then Yuan goes down under the auspices of Rubizic. It didn't look an awful lot in it, but again Aberdeen just a little bit suspect at the back there. Now Hibs under pressure. Marshall closed down by Miofsky, just squeezed the pass along the byline to Hanlon, who then clears upfield. A glimpse of both teams' unconvincing defending inside a minute there. Still goalless as we approach the 13th minute here at Pittodrie. Here's Rubizic up to halfway. Barron on his second start of the year, and he's looking for a run of what never came from one of the front two. Not sure he had a look there. Connor Barron gives the ball away, and Marshall collects 0-0.
No, it was a poor pass forward. There wasn't anyone there. He's put it into an area, but there wasn't a red jersey in sight. I think Rubizic a little bit uncertain there. Listen, he gets away with it. There is a bit of contact, with Yuan. It's not a penalty, but at the same time, it's a little bit concerning, I think, from an Aberdeen point of view, that he didn't deal with it more efficiently.
Yeah, McDonald header out. McGrath, good touch. It's played back to Jensen, finished centre half. An unconvincing pass back to McDonald, who has to go back to Roos, takes a touch on his right foot, and then this time it is a good pass out to Devlin, who flicks it on. Shinnie will chase, but he's eased out the way by Newell, and that allows Hanlon to come in. But yeah, Rubizic obviously gave away that penalty for the third goal for Haken. He's showed some good things, but he looks like someone who sometimes loses his composure as he wins the header comfortably there ahead of Yuan. Again, it's all very head tennis. If it's scrappy in the middle of the park as Newell pops one back to Hanlon in centre half, and Campbell has dropped very deep midway through his own half. It's spread out to Miller on the right hand side, closed down by McGarry, deflected into the middle of the pitch. Barron with a header forward, Diego goes up. Now it's to the feet of Newell, who's got a bit of space to put his foot on the ball, but immediately swamped by two red shirts, and Shinnie is penalised, much to the fury of the home fans. And David Monroe didn't hesitate, felt there was a pull there by Shinnie.
Yeah, I mean, there might have been, I couldn't see it, to be perfectly honest.
Just a wee tug.
Yeah. It is a scrappy game though, isn't it? I think Hibs are looking at more.
Yeah, especially keeping the ball in their own half. They need to be a little bit better in the final third, and keep it up in Aberdeen's half. But I'm just looking at the tactics, and for the other night there, Devlin will push on to Lewis Stevenson, fullback. He's playing that half and half shift, and it's the same over on the other side. So they just have to be very, very careful, Aberdeen.
And here's a long switch from Hanlon out to Boyle, who tussles with McGarry, and he's won it brilliantly. Martin Boyle keeps in on the touchline, and now he's racing into the box. He's got away from two red jerseys, chucks a stepper over in. Martin Boyle forces the save from Kelroos with the legs. Brilliant play from the Hibs winger.
Thomas, that's the Boyle of old. We've been waiting on that. He's had a real hard time with injuries, and I've said on numerous occasions, give him a chance, but when he's doing that, then he's a match winner. Absolutely fantastic play.
Well, he leaves McGarry, doesn't he, standing there? McGarry's got to make sure that, I think he doesn't judge the flight of the ball initially. He tries to get close to Boyle. Boyle wins possession, and once he's got possession and facing the defender, dipping the shoulder, McGarry's all over the place, and it's a decent effort from him.
Here's Boyle's corner with the right foot right into the 6-yard box. I think it's Jensen gets the flicked header away out to this near side for a throw-in. Aberdeen defend that one. Martin Boyle and Newell is going to look to take this throw-in. Let's get an update from the action at Tynecastle with Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, 17 minutes played here, still Hearts 0, Motherwell 0, but both best chances so far have come for the visitors. A corner by Spittle in the left hand side, Mugabe with a header tipped over by Clark, and Spittle with an effort from 25 yards. It looked as if it was going over anyway, but anyway, Xander Clark got to it and just tipped to make sure it wasn't finding the back of the net. Hearts 0, Livingston 0.
And here come Aberdeen on the break after Hibs had some pressure. It's Dookie, he's running over halfway, he's tripped surely by Diego. He is indeed right on the halfway line, and Jimmy Diego goes in the book. Early doors, good counter-attacking from Aberdeen after they were under some pressure.
They were under pressure, and I thought that Hibs were pretty disorganised, to be perfectly honest. They lose the ball just outside the Aberdeen penalty box, and they were very sparse at the back, and you can't do that. Particularly when Duke's got the ball running at you, the pace that he's got. If he's allowed that space, then he normally takes advantage of it. But Diego, probably professional foul, maybe one for the team he takes. The referee's absolutely correct with the yellow card.
Aberdeen get on with things. Here's Rubizic on halfway, looks for the ball down, but he's closed by Yuan, and now it's Vente with the ball midway through the Aberdeen half. He's given it to Yuan, who's into the box, left hand side. Yuan cuts inside the challenge of, I think it's
McDonald.
Yeah, McDonald gets across. He almost looked like he missed the ball, and then it caught his trailing leg as it went past.
Yeah.
But either way, he's got it away.
Thomas Johan, he's got two options. He's going in, he hits it left foot, or he cuts back. He cuts back, there's a chance that trailing leg of McDonald might get a penalty. He gets it on the ball and plays it out for a corner. I would say, being two defenders, great defending,
I think it was great defending, although I must admit, I think there was an element of luck in it as well, John, because he had committed with his right foot to block it, and it was his trailing left foot that managed to just clip the ball.
But what's big Rubizic doing? What is he doing?
Well, he's done that on a number of occasions so far this season.
Boyle's corner with the right foot to the back post, and Fish went up again. He couldn't get a header on it. He was in a good position on the edge of the 6-yard box, but it goes behind for a goal kick to Aberdeen. Goalless here at Pittodrie, 18.5 minutes played. And we've had a glimpse of both teams' pace going forward at times on the break, but also their defensive vulnerabilities. Willie touched on there. Rubezic unconvincing for Aberdeen. And here's Roos as he takes out to the edge of his own penalty area. The Aberdeen keeper looks for options. He's going to go long. Duke is up against Miller, but the fullback wins it comfortably. Header up in the air, and it's going to bounce once and go out for an Aberdeen throw-in on the far side.
Not much of a header, I must say. You know, the fullback, he's got plenty of time there. He's not under any pressure whatsoever. Comes off the top of his head and goes out for the throw-in. Poor defender.
Here's McDonald back in the Aberdeen side this afternoon. Gives it to Rubezic, who crosses halfway, and he's played a ball forward. But again, it's exactly what Conor Barron did before. There was absolutely no one near the space that Slobodan Rubezic passed it into, and it's gone straight behind for a Hibernian goal kick.
Yeah, they would probably leave it with Rubezic, and you know, and allow him to go and try to play the passes. I don't think he's he isn't comfortable doing that. He would be advised to, you know, look up, try to get it into a midfield player, and then allow the midfield player to play the important pass forward.
Hibs play out short. Fish from his own box launches it long. Youan's one-on-one with Rubezic, who stood strong and won the header. And it's back for Devlin, who flicks up in the air. Shinnie battles with Newell, who wins it. Youan will chase, and he's nudged Rubezic, who goes down. And it's going to be a Hibs throw-in, I think. Youan goes quickly to the feet of Newell midway through the Aberdeen half. He comes infield. He's got a bit of space. He's met with a screen now. Vente gives it back, but the pass is loose straight to Duke midway through his own half. He's trying to turn away. He goes down, doesn't get the foul. Here's Miller, drives past one. He's still going, Miller, up to the corner of the box. He's marshalled by Duke, and this time Duke gives away the free kick right on the edge, right on the corner of the Aberdeen penalty area.
For me, 2 times no free kicks, to be perfectly honest. I think both of them have thrown themselves to the ground. Duke initially, and then Miller, as he was going into a cul-de-sac, really decided that he would take the free kick. I think Graham Shinnie having a word with the referee, and for me, the referee should have just allowed play to continue.
Another Hibs free kick. They've had quite a few set pieces.
Yeah, it's Boyle and Newell. It's over it.
Yep, the familiar two. We've had a couple each so far, and are in deep discussions as the referee David Monroe makes sure that there's no infringements in the box.
I would be shooting for there, Newell. I'm just looking at it.
And here goes Joe Newell with a left foot. He is going to shoot. There's a flick on at the back post. It's back into the edge of the 6-yard box. Youan can't control it, and Barron scampers it away to the edge of the box. Now it's played onto Duke, who's got Newell for company. He runs away from him over halfway. Here comes Martin Boyle, who gets a body challenge in and then concedes the throw in, but it's good tracking back from the winger.
Yeah, just going back to the free kick, I'm just looking at it, and the reason I'm saying shoot, because there's that many bodies in front of the goalkeeper, and if you fizz it in, anything can happen.
Aberdeen just about got it away, and here's Duke, left hand side, passes it back to McGarry, infield to Barron. Barron looks for some movement in front of him. He's asking for Devlin to come in, gives it on to Rubezic, and then it's back to McDonald on the halfway line. Moves it out to Jensen on the left hand side in front of the south stand. 1-2 with McGarry, back to McGrath, shuffles forward into McGarry, moves, it looks to pass it into the corner of the box, but Duke loses out to Will Fish, and it's cleared up the pitch. Jensen heads it back to McDonald, who has to put the foot through it under pressure, and Fish leaves it for David Marshall at the other end. 0-0, 22 and a half played here at Pittodrie.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle for Aberdeen to gain control of the ball and try to have some possession and a little bit more calmness, I would suggest, in their play. It seems to be awful frantic, and I don't think you want that out there. It's a really hot day. The sun is really belting down on the players as well, so I think a little bit more calmness from the home side would be in order.
Goalless here, goalless at Tynecastle between Hearts and Motherwell. Celtic going to Ibrox and getting a huge victory in the lunchtime kick-off. Kyogo's goal, the difference. You can watch highlights of all of that on Sports Scene later on BBC Scotland. And Aberdeen take the throw in. Rubezic on the edge of his own box. Youan closes him down, and it's a rather hurried pass back to Roos, who rather unconvincingly gets it up the pitch, but he does find McGrath in fairness, and now it's prodded forward for Miofsky. Looks for the first time ball around the corner to Duke. Perhaps he had time definitely to take a touch and just hold it up there, Miofsky, but the pass didn't go to Duke, and now Hibs come forward. Here's Vente, Spreads out to Stevenson in the Aberdeen half. Yuan on the touchline. He's got Devlin in front of him. Comes infield on the right foot and he's fired it to the back post where Boyle is waiting. Boyle gets a header on it back. Here is Josh Campbell in the box. Moves it out to the right hand side where Miller is. Miller going to try and take on Barron around the outside. He does. Barron blocks the cross. McGarry controls, clears it up to Duke midway through the Aberdeen half. He's turned well, fished brilliantly, Duke, but then he's just lost control of the ball. And Barron goes in, makes a challenge, and it's a Hibs throw in on the far side. Incredibly frantic stuff here at Pittodrie. Martin Boyle gets some leap on him at the back post. Aberdeen will say he shouldn't be winning that.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 times he's done that. He's had a couple of knockdowns, and if it's working, then just keep hitting it. You know, he seems to have beaten off McGarry on that back post.
Goalless. Opening quarter has come and gone, but Hibs have very much grown into this game. And here's Hanlon with his foot on the ball, takes a couple of touches. He's not under any pressure. Gives it to Yuan, who's dropped deep, gets it back inside the centre circle. Left foot pass out to Miller on the right hand side. The fullback thinks about going for a little run, but takes a touch, moves it back in field to Fish. Back to Hanlon, and it's a long left footed pass towards Yuan. He's tussling with Devlin, who wins it into Shinnie, and the flag has gone up for offside.
Yeah, you know, as I say, Devlin, you know, he's a seasoned pro. He knows what's on, you know, he'll stand up to it, bring it on. Johan's got his work cut out today, you know, get on the ball, and you don't shrink away from it. Get on it, demand the ball, and get at him.
It's a little bit timid from Aberdeen, though, I think, John, in terms of you know, the press. You've got the 2 strikers up there, you've got 2 centre backs as well, but 2 strikers are not really engaging with the centre backs.
Yeah, I've been disappointed in terms of a little bit of their work rate. There's a couple of times it's been played around the corner and your centre strikers going after it. Even that one, a long ball, you know, it's no contested. You need to put your body on the line.
Hanlon clears one out of his own box as Devlin threatened, and Vente's going to chase this. He's going to keep it in ahead of McDonald. Vente looks for support, nudges it back to Yuan. He's moving up towards the Aberdeen box. Rubezic is in front of him. He'll fancy that, and Rubezic just cleans him out. It's really clumsy defending from the Aberdeen centre-back, who goes in the book, and he's been drawn out into the wide position, and he was done incredibly easily, John Hughes.
Yeah, you need see when you're one-on-one, you need to know your opponent. You need to get down low. You need to know where he's going. He's on the ball, but you show him where you want to go. Johan's just dropped his shoulder, and away he's wet left side, and he's just cleaned him out. It's basically a rugby tackle, really.
Willie, you've got a wry smile as an old former centre-back.
Yeah. I mean, it's just how you shouldn't defend, really. I think that's what we've just had an example of. And I would worry if it was Barry Robson, if Johan gets Rubezic isolated like that.
Yeah, one-on-one, and that will happen if the fullback Nicky Devlin's pushed forward.
Yeah.
He's just 23-year-old Slobodan Rubezic. He's playing in the Serbian top flight last season. He is still a fairly young player, but he does seem to lack composure at times. He's so aggressive in trying to win the ball that he was never likely to win it from that position. And now here's Martin Boyle with a free kick on this left-hand side, right-footed into the 6-yard box, headed away by Rubezic. Joe Newell helps it back in, but it's straight to McGrath, who just heads it up towards halfway, and Lewis Stevenson's under pressure from Miofsky here and just gets the pass away to David Marshall, the goalkeeper, who with a right foot clears it down the field. Rubezic challenges, wins the header, it's up in the air, won by Boyle, who's come across to this near side, but McGrath's come away with it. He's rather isolated and he's gone with it. Ball into Miofsky, but Hanlon easily read it and nudged it out to this near touchline, and Stevenson, who gives it back to his old comrade Hanlon, and then passes it out comfortably between 2 Aberdeen players to Jego, who takes a look up and he's trying to hit Yuan. Rubezic read it well that time and nudged it back to Kelarus, the goalkeeper. Goalless, 28 nearly played here at Pittodrie.
Yeah, I thought he dealt with that well defensively, because Johan was looking to get in, you know, the back of him there, but Rubezic watched the flight of the ball and get a decent header in. Devlin's
crossed to the edge of the box, not near a red shirt, and Jego clears only as far as Barron, who holds off one Hibs player and then nudges it down the line to Devlin. Right-footed, McGrath on the corner of the box. He's got space to float across the back post where Duke's waiting, and I think the final touch did indeed come off the defender.
Yeah, it's Muller on the back post doing his job as the right backs should. You know, absolutely fantastic defender. It was a great cross put in by Devlin. You know, he just whipped it into that back post, and Muller certainly done his job there.
Yeah, just allowing Duke to go and challenge for it.
Was it Duke at the back?
It was Duke at the back. He's okay in that position as well. He can leap particularly well, but good defending.
Aberdeen corner. It's as close as they've come since the opening couple of minutes when Nicky Devlin nodded one over the bar. Corner comes in from the far side. Fish stoops to head out, does well. The young defender out for a throw in on the far side. Aberdeen will look to try and keep the pressure on as Barron takes the throw down the line. McGrath's come across, controls it on the chest. He's got Miller for company. He's right on the touchline. Miller closely following him, but he's managed to get away. Here's McGarry on the left-hand side, looks to go beyond Miller, and he's run into the back of him. Wants a free kick. Duke flies in as well on Campbell, and then there's a cross the back post, and Miofsky was lurking. Marshall had to get 2 fists on it, and it's out to this near side, and then Miofsky's won it off Stevenson, who then nudges out for an Aberdeen throw-in, and Miofsky wants to get on with it. He gives it to Devlin, who's got loads of time and space to cross, and he's given it infield to Shinnie, who looks to check back on the left foot, edge of the box. Gives it back to Devlin on this right-hand side, cross over Duke, and then it's past McGarry at the back post and out for a throw-in on the far side. And there's been a goal at Tynecastle. Brian McLaughlin.
Goal for Motherwell. Wonderful play between Harry Payton and Callum Slattery. Slattery through and goal, zipping the ball beyond Xander Clark. There was a flag went up for offside, but VAR's checked it, and it was easily a yard onside. It's Hardman Lothian 0, Motherwell 1.
Motherwell soaring to the top of the Premiership. What a start to the season for Stuart Kettlewell's side. Still plenty of time to go, and Rubicic has got the ball in his own box, and there's a bit of miscommunication, it looked like there, between him and Keller-Roos, and eventually the goalkeeper took it. I just needed one of them to take control of the situation.
It's very nervous, isn't it? I don't know if he got a shout. Maybe he did get a shout. If that was the case, then he's every right to leave it, but the communication didn't seem to be accurate there, and I'm not too sure who it was. Was it Venti that was lurking? And you know, if he goes round the other side of Rubicic, he's got an opportunity of scoring.
Here's Miofsky out to Shinnie midway through the Hibs half. Urged to shoot, but he's about 40 yards from goal, nearly 35 yards out. It's moved out to the left-hand side. Jensen's going to float one in, hangs up to the back post. Miofsky gets someone on it. Duke with a touch. It's heavy as he faced away from goal, and it allowed Hibs to clear. And now Hibs a bit at 6s and 7s as Joe Newell gets his foot on the ball on the edge of his own box, and he looks for the run of Yuan. He's found him brilliantly. Yuan going to get there ahead of Rubicic, who is on a yellow card. He's away from Rubicic. He's up towards the byline. Roos has to save as Yuan gets the right-footed shot in. What a chance on the break for Hibernian. And now Shinnie turns away, and he's fouled, and there's going to be another yellow card issued for Josh Campbell. What a passage of play that was, John Hughes.
Yeah, it all started in Hibs' own box. It broke to Joe Newell. He played a fantastic ball over the top. Johan had the pace of the big centre-back Rubicic, and had the pace on him, struggling. Similar to the chance he had earlier on, cutting right on goal. Hit the target, great save from the goalkeeper. That's Johan at his best, absolutely outstanding. And he knows he's got the beating off you with pace, and just keep giving him the ball.
Well, you know, if you're going to leave them two together, there's only going to be one winner, and that's Johan. So I'm struggling to understand why, you know, Devlin is leaving them so exposed. And again, like against Hacken, it's 3v3, but it's 3 central defenders against 3 forward players, and 2 of them are wingers.
Yeah, and pace, Willie. You're talking about real pace with Johan, Boyle and Venti.
Here's McGarry off to Duke on the left-hand side. He's touched it back to McGarry. Duke just inside the box, left-hand side. Good tackle from Fish. And he's passed it out, but that's cut out by Barron, who goes backwards to McDonald, and the home fans are urging him to play it forward as Yuan cuts out a pass that was intended for McGrath. He's got it middle of the pitch, midway through his own half. He tries to get away from Shinnie, and Shinnie just stood his ground, and Yuan runs it away. And here's McGarry. Switch to McGrath, middle of the pitch for Aberdeen, up towards the Hibs box. Devlin's up from right wing back, just outside the box. He's going to get the cross in with the right foot, headed away at the near post by Joe Newell, and Shinnie will scamper after it, collects, faces his own goal, spreads it to McDonald in the centre circle. Right-footed pass, side foot out to Jensen, then Duke down the touchline. He's going to run at Miller. Duke goes inside then out, left-footed cross is blocked, corner Aberdeen. And Duke, Willie Miller, has come to life a little bit in the last few minutes.
Yes, he has. You know, if he gets space, if he gets himself in the right position, if he gets the ball in front of himself and 1v1 with defenders, then he can take them on. He's got really good movement. He dips his shoulder. He's okay going outside and inside, and Miller on that occasion wasn't 100% certain which way he was going to go. I think he was a little bit fortunate to get the touch on it. Goes out for the corner.
Corner on the left hand side for Aberdeen. It's going to be Gary to take, fires it. Hanlon and Newell get up. One cleared, Barron wins the seconds, drops from McGrath, goes back to Shinnie, midway through Hibs territory, onto McGrath, looks up, he's not closed down, he's going to ping it out with the right foot to the left hand side of McGarry, who misjudged the ball, and it ended up going out for a Hibs throw-in on the far side to relieve pressure on the visitors.
Yeah, it's been a better spell for Aberdeen. It hasn't been silky football. It's been a bit of aggression, isn't it? An attitude, perhaps.
I'm just saying, Willie, if I was a Hibs manager, and I know the Aberdeen fullbacks, McGarry and Devlin's running forward, they're running on to Hibs fullbacks that are playing against no one, Stevenson and Miller. So I'm saying to Johan and Boyle, cheat. And when we turn it over, then it's 3v3.
And here goes Johan right through the middle of the pitch. Devlin has to go in, but it's fallen back for Johan. Check back to the edge of the box. He might have been able to go through on goal there. He's nudged it to Boyle, who's in on the right hand side of the box. Shot blocked, and Aberdeen scramble it clear. Angus MacDonald clears the danger.
I think that's Josh Campbell. I think he's went to get a touch just inside the 6-yard box, and it's stuck under his feet and come back away.
They're living dangerously though, Aberdeen. Total misunderstanding there between Devlin and Rubicic, getting in each other's way actually, and allowing Johan in.
And here's Venta, Johan on the edge of the box, he's standing up, Devlin goes for the low shot, Roos flopped down to save rather comfortably, but Ellie Johan is getting so much joy down this left hand side, and Boyle has had a couple of glimpses on the right as well. Still goalless though, 35 played here at Pittodrie. And Kel Roos, with the sun in his eyes slightly.
There's a wee change, I just think, coming for Aberdeen bench. We'll just see what happens. Is it Agnew just putting on there, maybe just changing the shape slightly? Two through the middle.
Well, they've got a lot of centre,
wide right.
They've got a lot of centre backs at the club, but none of them natural on the bench at the moment.
It looks like McGrath's wide right. Yeah.
McGrath.
So it'll be two through the middle, McGrath wide right, McGarry wide left, Shinnie, and is it Barron in midfield?
Yeah. So Aberdeen trying to change things up, because the threat of Hibs on the break in particular has been, well, very lively. And it's a throw-in just in front of us here in the main stand. Devlin inside the Hibs half, sun in his eyes, goes back to Rubicic, who again has looked nervy at times. Across to McDonald, right-footed pass out to Jensen, Finnish international, centre half, plays it up the line for Duke. Fish gets there first and thumps it into the south stand.
I'm just looking at now, Jekyll must get on the ball. He's not playing against anyone. The other two midfielders are matched up. Jekyll got on the ball and get Hibs playing.
Duke tussles with Miller in the box. He's so strong for a man of his stature, and he's won it on the byline. Gives it back to McGarry, who tried to dig out a cross or a shot or something, but it flew well past David Marshall's near post. And Lewis Miller is on the ground in a bit of pain after that challenge with Duke. But Aberdeen, well, Duke's definitely come to life a bit. He's not scored in 11 games, Willie Miller. He's trying ever so hard. But
he is, yeah. He's a threat. Once he gets onto his game, slow starter last season as well, but once he gets up and motoring down, he's a definite threat, as he says. His strength is phenomenal. 1v1, if you're going to try to take him on, very difficult, no matter what size of defender that he's trying to get the better of. But his pace is his real asset. If he gets it and he gets a bit of room in front and 1v1, then invariably he's going to come out on top. But I'm not surprised that Aberdeen have got to change. They've been forced into matching up almost the slightly different formation, but the same, going with the four at the back, because I think if Johan gets himself isolated by Rubicic, then there is definitely only going to be one winner, and Aberdeen have lived dangerously in that area so far.
And here's McGrath, and he's tripped by Newell. Free kick, and the home fans want a card here. Stays in David Monroe's pocket, but it was undoubtedly a pull as McGrath ran away from Joe Newell midway through the Hibs half, and Aberdeen will get the chance to deliver. 38 played, 7 left in this first half. It's still Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0. Both sides looking for that first league win of the season. And Connor Barron is asking for the another ball to be thrown on. Not sure what's wrong with it. Another one, he puts it back off the pitch. Not
obviously he's not
sure.
He's not one of them midfielders that's got eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah, it was sitting there ready to be hit for quite some time, but here we go. McGarry is over it with the left foot, Barron with the right. It's going to be McGarry, puts his hand up, goes to the back post. Marshall thinks about coming in, doesn't, and Hanlon has to head it behind for a corner. Dangerous stuff.
Yeah, great ball in, and Hanlon makes sure he's first there. As I say, that's great defending, because if it goes over Hanlon's head, then it's higher, but he's done his job. But the first one, he's making sure he's heading.
And McGarry is going to come over on this near side to take the corner as Aberdeen look to get themselves in front before half time. And they've got the centre backs up. Left foot for McGarry in towards Jensen, headed away by Vente. Back to Barron on the right hand side. He gives it infield to McGrath, who's in the box. He's come out of the box, right footed pass to McGarry, who's over on the right hand side. Good pass for Barron, cuts it back. There's Bojan Miofsky. What a block that is by Hanlon, or it might be Campbell in fact, and then Jego's eventually hacked it away. Really good defending inside the penalty area from Hibs. They had to, because Miofsky was burying that in the bottom corner.
It was a big opportunity, but you know, Hibs just throwing bodies in front of it. Was it Jago that got the initial block?
I think it was Hanlon.
Was it Hanlon? Yep. There was a little flick as well. Who did the little flick in there? You know, when it fell to him, it was very cool and calm.
Duke with a good tackle to win possession. Here's Miofsky, left-footed shot on the edge of the box. It was Taine, and Marshall just dived to his right and saved extremely comfortably.
That's Muller, the right back, you know, taking a chance, running. He's running the 20-30 yards there with the ball away into midfield, into bodies. Every chance you're going to get dispossessed. That's what happened on the turnover. It gives Aberdeen a chance.
It does, but it was a poor effort from Miofsky, wasn't it? You know, if goalkeepers still wore bunnets, you would be saying you could have thrown your bunnet in that one.
John Hughes could have thrown his bunnet on that one from here.
Behave yourself, come on. That's called style.
Oh, take your word for it, John. Take your word for it.
It's not even mine. It's a boy called Almanis.
Other design is unavailable. And it's an Aberdeen throw-in over on the far side. And the home side have had the better of the last 5 minutes or so, but Hibs have looked so dangerous on the break, with Youan and Boyle in particular, as Duke tussles with Miller. Miller will be sick of the sight of him, and then it's a good tackle from Barron. Duke goes after it, Fish has to go across. That's a good tackle, got the ball, Duke went over, but Fish just got there first.
Yeah, very good challenge. You know, he's identified the danger. He was quick to go out right on the touchline. He's got to get it right. He goes in with the left foot, maybe a little bit awkward with the challenge, but there's no doubt he gets the ball, and then he takes Duke, and it's a good challenge from the centre back.
Here's McDonald, crosses the halfway line. He's dinked one with the right foot, but that's extremely poor. Straight out the pitch, well in front of James McGarry. Hence the groans around us in the main stand. And Miller will go across to take the throw in. There's been no shortage of running endeavour, and there have been chances for both sides, but it is goalless. 42 played here at Pittodrie between Aberdeen and Hibernian. Both sides winless in the Premiership in their opening 3 games. Hibs without a point as Stevenson chases a loose ball in the Aberdeen half. He's got there. Devlin's come across to meet him. Left-footed pass infield for Newell. Across to Jago, is in the centre circle now. Right foot out to Miller. Runs at McGarry, but then moves the ball back to Jago, gives it back to Miller, and Aberdeen allowed to come out a bit and meet Hibs, and it's forced back to Hanlon in the centre circle as the visitors try to build some play from the back. Youan drops deep, he's pursued by Devlin, but he's done well to keep the ball, and he's moved it to Newell in the centre circle, and back to Fish. Aberdeen not getting right on top of Hibs, leaving them their own half, and Jensen's put the foot in to win it from Boyle. A lovely pirouette from Barron in the pitch, but then he's lost it. Boyle driving up the edge of the box, looks to work the space on the right foot. Shot blocked by Angus MacDonald, and Martin Boyle baring his teeth once more for Hibernian.
Yeah, it was a great play from Boyle in the middle of the park. Initially, he was on the ball, got dispossessed. Obviously, it angered him because he really showed the desire to get it back, and then he went on that run, you know, right into the box. And by all means, when you get there, go and have a shot. Unfortunately, it hit the defender.
There will be a throw-in on the far side to Hibernian. Lewis Miller is going to wind this up in front of the travelling Hibs support in the south stand. Flings it in right onto the penalty spot, edge of the 6-yard box now. It's allowed to bounce. It's out to the far side and Yuan collects. Devlin goes with him. Yuan tries a little turn and whips it away from Devlin at the last minute, but Devlin sticks to his task brilliantly and gets a foot in, and it's broken for Miofsky, who goes round Newell, who trips him, and he's already been booked. No, he hasn't. It's Jimmy Jeggle that's been booked, and then Newell then moves the ball away afterwards.
Yeah, I think they're shouting because Newell had one 10 minutes earlier when he tugged one back. There's no much in that.
No, I didn't think there was.
No,
I didn't think it was a yellow card.
Good refereeing.
Yeah.
And Rubezic will take the free kick. Barron receives it, looks up, he's put a sweeping ball with the right foot out to McGarry, who's high up on the left hand side. Jensen, the centre back's going on the overlap. Little shimmy from McGarry up to Miofsky, who's got space in the edge of the box. He's closed down now, left foot shot blocked, gets another attempt just inside the box and prodded it with the left foot towards Marshall, who was able to again dive and claim.
What should have done? He should have toe poked it. McGrath was in, wasn't it? I know it come down and it was toe poke or a shot. If he just toe poked it, McGrath was in on the right hand side here.
I think when you get a striker in that position, when he's had one shot, he's going to go for the second. He's only got one thing in his mind. What a crossfield pass from Barron out to McGarry. It was brilliant. It opened the opportunity up, and you know, Miofsky just desperate to get his shot off, which was blocked. And then you're right. I mean, he had other options, and he could have picked, you know, a teammate out. But I think in that position, that circumstances, he wants to find the back of the net. That's what he does. That's his stock and trade, and he had to go for it. And I don't think you can blame him.
Well, he's a man for goals for Aberdeen this season. We're into the 2 minutes signalled by the fourth official of stoppage time, as Angus MacDonald this time just shells one out the pitch on this near side. Hibs throw in. Well, it's been lively in this first half, certainly. Both teams with positives to take, but also some concerns at times defensively. Stevenson is going to throw this up the line. Vente goes up, Campbell goes up, beg your pardon, but it's over him, and Shinnie comes away with it. He's on the halfway line and he's looking for a pass forward, but he spreads it out to McGarry on the left hand side. Infield to Jensen. Barron drops in, takes a touch, gives it back to Jensen. Up the line to Duke, who is one-on-one with Miller. He's not got much space to work with, Duke, and Miller just stood his ground and nicked the ball off him, and then clears up the pitch towards Vente. Jensen got there first, knocks it on to Shinnie, checks back, gives it infield to Barron, who's going to try the pass out to Miofsky. Miofsky controls with the chest, corner of the box. He's pursued by Stevenson. Infield to Barron, middle of the pitch, Shinnie, edge of the D, edge of the area. McGarry, a bigger pardon, cross, and there's appeals for a handball from Miller against Miller, and it comes back to McGarry, who crossed it to the back post. It's over everyone, including Bojan Miofsky, and Yuan's going to fetch that, and then he tries to pass it to Stevenson, but he's given it to Shinnie. And well, that penalty appeal, it looked like his arms were by his side, I have to say. Lewis Miller, and it was close range as well. Fans appealed in any case, and there's a foul by Jamie McGrath on Joe Newell, and that may well be the final action of this first 45 minutes, and it is half time at Tynecastle, and Motherwell are leading Hearts by 1-0. We'll hear about that first 45 minutes at the break with Brian McLaughlin as David Marshall prepares to take this free kick on the edge of his own area, and you think as soon as he hits this ball the whistle will be blown, and he hits it with the right foot, and indeed the whistle is blown here at Pittodrie. The first 45 minutes come to an end. It's been lively, that's for sure, but both sides, who are absolutely desperate for their first league win of the season, no one's on course to get it so far. After the opening 45 minutes, there have been chances. Martin Boyle's had a couple saved by Roos. Yuan had one saved by Roos as well. Devlin had a header over inside the 6-yard box. Miller had a good block to deny Duke. Miofsky had another one blocked inside the box that was heading for the bottom corner. But none of those chances taken. Some good goalkeeping, some good defending at times. At half-time, here at a gloriously sunny Pittodrie, it is Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0.
On digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sports Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and on BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
It's where we unite.
How beautiful for Scotland!
It's where we show our might.
Scotland attack!
It's where we go out to fight.
Try again for Scotland to seal this win!
Scotland on rugby's biggest stage. Every tackle and every try lives here.
Scotland on their day can beat anyone.
The Rugby World Cup, South Africa versus Scotland. Next Sunday from 4. Listen on digital radio or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
This is Sports Sound. We're live here on BBC Radio Scotland already this afternoon. We brought you that important win for Celtic. They went across to Ibrox. They took all 3 points thanks to Kyogo, who scored yet again just in first half stoppage time. Bit of a scrappy defensive display at times from Celtic, but they held Rangers out, and that is 3 points that have sent them to the top of the table, but they could be being pretty much joined there by Motherwell, who are in action this afternoon at Tynecastle. Brian McLaughlin.
It certainly looks that way, Richard. It's Hibernian 0, Motherwell 1, and no less than the Fir Park side deserve. They were absolutely terrific in that opening 45 minutes. A couple of chances early on, a corner by Spittle from the left-hand side. Mugabe with the header tipped over by Xander Clark. And the Hearts keeper called into action a few moments after that. Spittle this time with a shot from distance. Again, Clark tipping the ball over the crossbar. The deadlock broken on the half-hour mark. Harry Payton and Slattery once again combining. Slattery finishing off a wonderful ball from Payton, split open the Hearts defence, finishing with ease. Did Slattery. The flag went up for offside, but after a VAR check this time, absolutely accurate. Possibly 2 Hearts defenders were playing Slattery on, and Slattery almost with a second for Motherwell. And what a goal this would have been, Richard. Look out for this one tonight on Sports Scene. Dispossess Atkinson inside the centre circle, inside his own half, looked up. Looked, Xander Clark was off his line, then fired the ball towards goal. Clark relieved, the ball was just inches over the crossbar. Been very little in offensive terms from Hearts this afternoon. Boyce rather set up Lowry late on with an effort from distance that was deflected over for a corner. But Hearts have been really poor this afternoon, really leggy and lethargic after the midweek defeat in Europe. For Motherwell, Slattery, Miller, Spittle, Spencer and Payton have all been outstanding this afternoon, and they look really solid at the back. Half-time here at Tynecastle. Hearts 0, Motherwell 1.
Brian, thank you. Just in terms of the Hearts fans, given that they've seen a few goals being conceded this season, they've seen the team not get off to the kind of start they would have wanted. We heard earlier the Rangers fans venting their displeasure at their side. How have the Hearts fans been?
They're actually wasn't too much booing, Richard, which surprised me a little bit, because if Hearts lose this game today, that's 4 defeats on the trot, 8 goals conceded in just a 1 score. Now, yes, there's been a mishmash of what's been going on behind the scenes between Stephen Naismith and Frankie McAvoy, who's in charge, who's picking the team. That, I'm pretty sure, will be rectified within the next week or so, and then only then, I think, can the fingers be pointed at Stephen Naismith, if indeed he will be the man in charge, and I fully expect that to happen. But yeah, Hearts fans very quiet, but 18,353 here in this afternoon once again. But yeah, not too many disconcerting voices from the crowd yet.
That may be the deciding word, or deciding word, depending on what happens in the second half. Brian, thank you so much. 1-0 for Motherwell. They've been on this wonderful run since way back. It's only a couple of league defeats they've suffered, certainly unbeaten in a long time in the league under Stuart Kettlewell. I mean, a really strong start to the league season as well, and they're in front at Tynecastle. More to come from that one, and regular updates from Brian during the course of the second half as we bring you all the news, all the action, all the drama and excitement from the capital. Away from football, incidentally, Bob McIntyre, that's been confirmed, his showing this afternoon. He has confirmed that he will be in the Ryder Cup team, the European Ryder Cup team, in just a few weeks' time. So congratulations to the Oban golfer. Great to see Scottish representation back in the Ryder Cup side. Such great history, of course, some of the wonderful performances we've seen from Scots over the years, and Bob McIntyre will be hoping to do that very thing. Can't wait for the Ryder Cup, always one of the highlights of the sporting year and the years in which it is played. So congratulations to Bob McIntyre. In terms of the football highlights tonight, 7:15 Sports Scene, BBC Scotland channel, and listen out during the week. Scottish Football Podcast Monday to Friday, SWPL highlights Monday night 7 p.m, and of course next Friday live on Sports Sound, Cyprus against Scotland, with highlights later at night. In the English Premier League, into stoppage time, deep into stoppage time in fact, Crystal Palace 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Odsonne Edouard getting a couple of goals I noticed for Roy Hodgson's side, who look to be, well, clearly will be heading to victory there in the final minute of 6 of stoppage time there. We had a couple of minutes stoppage time here at Pittodrie at the end of the first half. Willie Miller, has it lived up to expectations, the opening 45?
Probably not, Richard. I think at times it's been a scrappy game. I think that Hibs for the first half hour perhaps had quite an easy time of it. I was expecting Aberdeen to be much more higher in the press and put Hibs under pressure and trying to win the ball back much more quickly than they did. That changed a little bit in the final 15 minutes, and I thought Aberdeen were more prominent, and of course when you're forced into changing your formation as well, you know, going from the back three to the back four, I think it was a sensible decision to do that. You know, but it tells its own story. It tells a story that the opposition really have got the better of you in that period. Aberdeen looking much more comfortable with Rivers being a centre back rather than, you know, a right back. I just, you know, watched Hacken as well, and I said it at the time, and I said it, you know, before this game, and you take so many chances, and particularly with the pace that Hibs have got and the pace that Hacken had and the quality they had up front, when you play 3 centre backs against 3 front men, and that's what Aberdeen did again today, and they were found out, particularly Rubicic against Johan, because there was only going to be one winner there, and it certainly wasn't the Aberdeen centre back. There's been chances, you know, I think marginally Hibs have had the better opportunities and the better chances in the first half, and I think Gray would be the happier manager, but you know, I don't think there's too much in it. I don't think Barry Robson will be despondent, but they've got to do more. You know, they've got to try and dominate the ball. They've got to try and be a little bit more calm, I think, in their build-up play. It's all very rushed at times. It'll be an interesting second half. I think it's even, and I'm just leaning towards Hibs in the first half, but I think the second half Aberdeen have got to improve, and I think the shape will definitely help them.
Probably the best chance of the game actually came for Nicky Devlin, didn't it, in the second minute, when he's 2 yards out or 3 yards out, he headed over the open goal. But since then, certainly Hibernian have been creating, John, more chances, and you guys identified beforehand, the danger has come from Boyle, it's come from Ewan. We've not seen an awful lot of Dylan Vente as yet, but it's just an ever-present threat, isn't it, from that Hibernian side? Yeah, but as I say, that's great pace you're talking about up front there, Richard. And if you can get the ball to him, Boyle's looking back to his old self. I've always said we need to give him a chance. He's been out with a real bad injury, you know, but he's looking lively today. He looks like he's up for it. Get the ball to him, get him running at the defender. There's a chance something might happen. On the other side, Johan, you know, he's been, when you get the ball to him, especially on the one-on-one, and he had the best chance of the game. I'm just looking back and I'm thinking that he's actually opened up just to put it away in the far corner, and I think it just might got stuck under his feet a little bit. It was still there, and he just didn't get enough on it. But that's been the best chance. And obviously Johan again, quite identical, cutting in again on the one-on-one, leaving the defender for pace, and McDonald coming over and getting that great tackling, shall we say. But yeah, I've been happy with Hibs. I've been good, we were saying, as the game was going on. I'd like to see them in the top half of the pitch, creating chances. They've built into the game, and that has happened. Same again, second half, and I fancy Hibs to go and win it. They've certainly looked the more dangerous, will they? You said that you felt you were just leaning towards Hibernian in terms of the overall balance of play. They certainly don't look like a team that's lost all 3 league games this season and are bottom of the table.
No, they didn't in that first half. Although it depends what the opposition does as well, Richard. And I felt that Aberdeen just allowed them to control the pace of the game, and allow the back 4, 2 centre backs have not been put under pressure, certainly not in the first half hour. A little bit more pressure put on them in the last 15 minutes, but they do not look like a team that they should be struggling at the bottom of the table. They've got too much threat. They're pretty good in midfield. They've got a bit of quality in there. Joe Newell is very impressive, and he has been impressive for a long time now, and the 2 wide players are definitely the threat, and Aberdeen had to really change to try and take care of them. You've now got Jensen playing left back, really, who is a centre back, and so that pattern has been disrupted, but it's been disrupted because Hibs have played particularly well, controlled the game, especially in the midfield area, and Aberdeen not been really nearly aggressive enough. I'm looking at, if they're going to go 3 at the back versus their 3 forwards, and you've got to get the wing backs forward and causing issues, and they didn't really do that, did they? Devlin and McGarry, not too many issues did they cause the Hibs defence. I think Duke is always a threat, and Majowski can certainly find his way to goal, so that's our main threats. I think it'll be an interesting second half. I'm not sure who I would put my money on. John's definitely for Hibs. I'm not definite for anybody at this moment in time. I think it's been reasonably even, with possibly Hibs just having the better chances, the better opportunities, barring that one from Devlin early in the game.
To be fair, it's your money John's putting on Hibs, not his. I mean, that's for sure. It can be guaranteed that that's the case. But come here, there's sometimes it's all it takes, John. We've seen it time after time. Under Lee Johnson, never quite knew exactly what was going on with Hibs and their style of play, and there were some highs, but there were some considerable lows as well. They do look a bit better organised at the moment under David Gray. Yeah, they've not. It's just picked a real good shape. He's been with it, with Josh Campbell playing behind Venti, and it also gives Hibs that little extra man in midfield. 3v2. The only way you can match it up is one of the strikers of Aberdeen drop in, and I don't think that's going to happen. So the 2 in midfield, the 3 in midfield, picked up. But once again, you have to get the ball to the wingers. It's down the sides, get the ball to the wingers, get the ball to Boiler, get the ball to Johan. They're the match winners. And it'll be interesting what Aberdeen do the second half. I have to say this, Richard, I was really impressed with their energy levels midweek, Aberdeen. I always thought they were in the game. I felt the other team, the Swedish team, were a better football team, but Aberdeen were in the game, and they put a lot of work into that game. I just wonder if that will come back to haunt them today. It could be. Well, they did only make a couple of changes from that fixture. It might be that we'll see the squad, the team being freshened up a bit in the second half, but it is, not only do they have that to contend with, it is an energy sapping day here in the tropical northeast, isn't it? It is tropical. In these conditions, this early in the season as well, difficult to get that energy level up, and perhaps that's why they didn't show that energy level in the first half. I'm not so sure it was. I think it was just plain tactics that they wanted to allow Hibs defenders, particularly the 2 centre back, an easy time on the ball. I expect Barry to try and change that in the second half, and make sure that Hibs don't have that control or don't have that easy possession. I think when you're at home and you've got the fans wanting to see the bulk of the game being played in the opposition half and chances being created, then you can't just allow the 2 centre backs to start building the game up as Hibs did, particularly in the first half hour. So yeah, it is energy sapping out there. I think you have to pace yourself, but at the same time I do think that you've got to put Hibs under far more pressure than what they have been. And you've also got to make sure that you're organised at the back, because if the 2 wide players for Hibs get any kind of a space at all, then you would fear for them. On the other hand, if Duke can get his game up to the level we know he's capable of,
and get a bit of space and get the opportunity to run at defenders, then that could be Aberdeen's weapon in the second half. We know that Miovski can score if he can get opportunities. I don't think they've created enough chances for him, and Barry will have to find a way of being able to do that second half.
5 successive matches that Miovski has found the net in for the Dons, so he clearly will be a threat. Hibernian certainly offering a threat through Boyle and Yuan in particular, and George Campbell also coming pretty close in that first half. He just failed to divert a low driven cross into the net. Brian, let's quickly head back to you at Tynecastle. Are Hearts looking to change things around?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of changes made. Yutara Oda and Alex Lowry have been replaced at the break. Toby Civic and Kisuke Tagawa, the players coming on to try and inject a little bit of pace. Very, very slow in that first half, very passive indeed. Second half just getting underway, Richard.
Players just emerging here in England. It finished Crystal Palace 3, Wolves 2 and Liverpool 3. Aston Villa 0. Arsenal against Manchester United kicks off at 4:30. SWPL 1. It was Spartans 0, Aberdeen 3. 3 of the matches, Hamilton Dundee United, Motherwell Montrose and Rangers Partick Thistle have just kicked off. Hibernian Celtic starts at 4:10. So the Dons players are out, now the Hibernian players out. 2 goalless at the break. Back to live commentary with Willie Miller, John Hughes and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Richard. Aberdeen are going to make a change. Shaden Morris is going to come on the pitch for Aberdeen in place of, surprise, surprise, Willie Miller, Slobodan Rubezic.
Yeah, it probably isn't a surprise, you know, after watching him. He was exposed on a number of occasions in the first half, and you know, when you go to that back four as well, then you've got a right footer and a left footer now, with Jensen coming in and playing beside McDonald. He was booked as well, yeah, and he's the type that's pretty rash with his challenges.
Hibs get us underway again as they look to get their first points. An even better win of the season in the Premiership. David Gray, what would be a great fill-up for him if he could get that first 3 points in caretaker charge for the 3rd time. As Martin Boyle tries to come away with the ball out of the Hibs half, and then he goes head-to-head with Duke, and the Aberdeen man gets the free kick. So Aberdeen will have Roos in goal, and then it'll be Devlin, McDonald and Jensen the back 3, with Morris a wing back, McGarry on the other side, Shinnie, Barron, McGrath with Duke and Miovski up front. No changes for Hibs. Marshall in goal, Miller, Fish, Hanlon and Stevenson, Jimmy Jeggo, Joe Newell, Campbell, Yuan and Boyle, and behind Ventit as Aberdeen play the free kick short, and it goes all the way back via a few red shirts to Kelleroos, and he looks for the pass out to this near side, and James McGarry, who's immediately under pressure from Boyle, has space to squeeze it up the line, but Lewis Miller gets there in front of Duke, and then Campbell moves it on to Boyle, who's driving infield, and the run of Campbell towards the edge of the box. Campbell picks it up, he's just inside the box, gets the right footed shot, it's deflected up into the arms of Kelleroos, but that's what Josh Campbell gives you, John Hughes.
Yeah, it was good refereeing, because initially I felt there was a free kick there. Duke got free kick, but he played on, and Josh Campbell, yeah, fantastic at it. You know, he's got an awful habit just to ghost in there, you know, and score these goals.
Yeah, Aberdeen going to the 4-3-3. It's just Duke pulling out to the left-hand side now, and Morris to the right-hand side with Miovski through the middle. So just matching up with Hibs.
Shinnie out to Duke on this left-hand side. He's asking his teammates, give me an option. McGarry is there, back down the line. McGarry forced back to Jensen. Goes across the back line to McDonald in the centre circle. And that's a slightly heavy pass for Devlin, who makes the best of it, gives it up the line to Morris, who lays it back off for Devlin, but Stevenson got in there and wins his team a throw-in on the far side. Aberdeen just caught a little bit, moving the ball about at the back, just a tad sluggish. Stevenson takes the throw back to Paul Hanlon. David Gray in the dugout below us, watching on, taking charge of his 10th game as caretaker over 3 spells of Hibernian. 1-3 draw 2, lost 4 of the previous 9, including that League Cup final in 2021, where Kyogo Stubble gave Celtic the victory. But his team started brightly in the second half as a ball down the line from Miller finds Boyle. He's twisting and turning away from McGarry. Still got it, Boyle. He's going to cross, cut out by McGrath, behind for a corner though.
Yeah, great play from Boyle. But as you say, a long ball over the top with Miller. Boyle, you know, he takes it on that toe once he stands the full back up. McGarry's got a chance. I'm only saying, Miller, just leave him one-on-one. What Miller's done is come back to go and overlap or underlap, and he's brought the guy back.
Boyle takes a few steps back in his home city, of course. Martin Boyle puts the arms up, he's ready to take with the right foot, stabs into the penalty area. Hibs get a head on it, it goes to the back post and Fish. It falls for Joe Newell! Just wide from the Hibs midfielder. There were hearts and mouths round us in the main stand up at Audrey. What a chance for Hibernian.
Yeah, I mean, it falls on that left foot of Joe Newell. You're expecting the net to ripple there, you know. Absolutely struck it well. That could not have been far past the post.
It was a great effort, wasn't it? Well set up by the centre back too, and when it fell to Newell, and he does get that time on it as well, and he sees that far post. He's so unlucky to see it just flash past.
Well, Shayden Morris did really well to get a cross in at the byline for Aberdeen, but there was absolutely no one in a red shirt in the penalty area. Here's Duke on the other side trying to work space for a cross. He goes back to McGarry, into Barron, who looks for a forward pass, but he's forced backwards, and Jensen has it all the way back on halfway. He's going for the left-footed switch out to Morris, and it's too heavy for Shayden Morris, although if he'd caught his bike a bit there, I think
that was letting Lewis Stevenson know what you're up against. I'm a speedster, you know, and he knocked it by him, and you know, to get there and get it, Lewis just better make sure he's just getting his distances right. You know, that's just a whole different problem for Lewis.
Well, it's certainly a more familiar position for Shayden Morris, the right wing berth rather than defensive duties. Here he is, infield. Shinnie nicks it away from the House player up to the edge of the box, and he's clattered in the edge of the area. Advantage played. McGrath drives into the box, he's forced away from goal, hits the deck. As Miller went shoulder to shoulder, it didn't really look like a foul. Not that the home fans agree with that, but Shinnie was certainly cleaned out on the edge of the box, and they actually go back for the yellow card for Paul Hanlon. That was frantic stuff. Still goalless. 50 played here up at Audrey.
Yeah, I think Shinnie got taken out, but passed the ball on to McGrath. McGrath went in, went nowhere. So the referee's played on. Shinnie wants a referee to bring it back for his free kick.
You can't win. Yeah, you can't win as a referee though. If that ends up in the back of the net, I don't think Shinnie's complaining.
Here's Miofsky, looks for the pass for Duke, but it's well read by Hibs. McGarry picks up midway through the Hibernian half on the left hand side, thinks about the cross, moves it short to Miofsky. It's McGrath rather, who then looked for Miofsky, deflected out to Duke on this left hand side. He's just into the penalty area, tries to work space for the cross, but there was two Hibs defenders out there, and in the end Lewis Miller blocks, and it's behind for an Aberdeen corner.
Well, we've now got two threats for Aberdeen in wide areas, Morris down the right and Duke down the left hand side, so you know the Hibs full-backs are going to be well tested, John.
And Muller will know he's up against it. You know, he's not been a flavour of the month in terms of getting a team selection, so he's going to have to stand up to this.
McGarry's corner with a left foot into the penalty spot. Jensen had a time to take a swipe at it, and it was a swipe because it didn't go anywhere near the target. Hibs only half clear to midway through their own half as Morris faces his own goal, gives it to Barron. Good pass forward to Duke on the edge of the box, out to the right hand side, and Devlin, he's on the corner of the area and he's put it in the right foot across. Miofsky's header just over the bar, but Aberdeen have just lifted the tempo in the last couple of minutes.
Well, they have, and I don't know what the Hibs centre backs are doing. Both of them go towards the near post, and Miofsky just drifts off the shoulder of both, and it's Miller that's got to come in from the full-back position and actually try to put him off. I think he should do better. I think he should get that on target at the very least. Puts it over the bar.
Yeah, it's just Morris. We're in a stop-off play, and it's Morris, a substitute. It's just down there getting a little bit of treatment.
Yeah, he's felt something, and he's down flat on his back, getting a bit of sunshine. Duke watches over, says, "What's up with you?" And Aberdeen might be forced into another rethink. Morris just on at the break. He's only played 52 and a half. He only played 7.5 minutes, but he's down. Felt something.
I mean, you could put Johnny Hayes out there, couldn't you, if he can't make it, if you want to stay with a 4-3-3 formation. But yeah, he looks very uncomfortable. They're talking, obviously they're wired up as well, the physios, but It doesn't look too good for Shaden Morris. Time will tell.
He's pulled to his feet. Esther Sockler is stripped. He's getting a few instructions from Barry Robson, a big pat on the back from his manager. It looks like he might be coming on. We shall see, but Morris is back on his feet. He's not limping, so it might be okay to continue. And Esther Sockler is pointed to the bench by Barry Robson by the look of it, and he puts his bib back on and he says maybe later. Shaden Morris is off the pitch on the far side, as Aberdeen will have to play briefly with 10 men. David Marshall takes the goal kick short to Paul Hanlon, and dribbles out to the edge of his box. Still goalless here. A couple of chances in the second half already in the 8.5 minutes we've played. Newell flashing one by the post for Hibs. Miofsky heading over for Aberdeen. There's Jimmy Jego, edge of his area, gives it off to Will Fish, who was closed down by Duke, and it hit off Duke behind for a goal kick, but better pressure from Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's what they should have been doing in the first half. You know, they made it so easy for the Hibs back four, particularly the two central defenders when they're trying to build up. Oh dearie me.
And that's a poor pass out, and Morris closed down Hanlon, who just recovered and nicked it by the Aberdeen player, who's back on the pitch after receiving some treatment. Hibs get a free kick on the far side. Youan looks to go quickly. McGrath blocks his path. Youan does get it away to Newell in his own half. Jimmy Jego back to Hanlon, who looks up, passes it forward right into the feet of Youan, who takes it on the turn really nicely. Now he's going to stretch the legs. Barron and Shinnie are in front of him, and Shinnie is shrugged off by Youan. He's right into the penalty area, steps over it. Youan onto the right foot. Oh, that would have been a wonderful goal. He's put it by the post, but what a run.
Yeah, you cannot, you know, I know you get your head up, maybe play a pass, but when you've got that momentum and you know you're knocking boys out the way like Shinnie, and you keep going, by all means go and have a strike. It wasn't too far away. Good play from Johan.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? He did have Josh Campbell. Josh Campbell was looking for the little kind of a square pass in, but it never came.
Marshall clears as Miofsky bared down on him, headed out of Aberdeen's defence by Jensen. Duke's going to collect on this left-hand touchline. He's up against Miller, takes it for a run. Duke shoulder to shoulder with Miller, is a big guy, but Duke gets away from him. He gets to the byline, goes down. David Monroe thinks about it.
I don't know.
He's given a goal kick.
Yeah.
Now obviously Stephen Kirkland is our VAR this afternoon, and he will have a look at that, but certainly it was difficult to see from behind the pole, in all honesty, but he hit the deck under pressure from Miller.
Yeah, I don't know if I seen a leg in at all, so that's why I would say that there wasn't contact. But if there's not contact, maybe there was some body contact perhaps that allows.
But I'm too far away to see that. But one thing I will say, the intent of give me the ball, I'm going to get at you. The two Aberdeen wingers now.
Yeah, but that's his weapon. That's his strength, getting it and taking players on, using. You know, his pace, being direct, and asking the question of the defender, what does the defender do now? It looked as though Miller handled it relatively well there. I don't think that I could see a leg being thrown out, but we're quite far away from it, so we'll just have to wait on the final decision.
On VR?
Yeah, we are indeed. The goal kick is being held up. It's play on. No penalty for Aberdeen.
You know, if he goes down that easily, if there's no contact, maybe there was a bit of body contact, and that's why Duke gets off without being booked. Because
it looked shoulder to shoulder, and he's maybe just lost out.
Yeah. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Indeed, you can watch that one back on Sports Scene later in any case. And Graham Shinnie's wanting a free kick right in front of us here in his own half. And he's not going to get it. It's going to be a Hibs throw-in. He's been in the referee's ear a few times, Graham Shinnie, unhappy with a few decisions. Fish with a right foot switch out to Stevenson on the left. First time up the line to Youan. He's looked so composed on the ball, Youan, but then just as I say that, he takes a heavy touch. And Nicky Devlin's able to clear, and then Steve Newell, in fact, is under pressure, and Youan tracks back. It's scrappy. Campbell goes in on Shinnie, and this time Shinnie does get the free kick. And I think now he's asking for the yellow card, but Josh Campbell has already been booked.
The referee's inconsistent because there isn't. I don't know if that's a yellow card, but he's gave it earlier on. Some of these tackles I've seen earlier on, he's gave yellow card, so be consistent.
Well, I think that's what the message was from Graham Shinnie, certainly. And Josh Campbell has already been booked. Ball forward for Aberdeen. Flicked on by McGrath to Shaden Morris. I think Boots, he's under close quarters from Stevenson, who nods out for a throw-in.
Knowing Shinnie's played for it. You know, he knows how to play the game, and he knows suck people in and knows what's going on round about him, and any chance he gets, very, very clever. That's what's in the game nowadays. In our day, well, you never went down. It was a weakness, wasn't it?
Certainly was.
And it's an Aberdeen throw on the far side. And they're going to... Well, there's... Devlin checks back, thinks about throwing it, goes back, and it's launched in eventually, and it's easily headed away by Stevenson at the near post. Barron picks up, puts it back to Devlin, and Barron jinks in field away from one, but it's a good recovery tackle from Josh Campbell, who's now speeding away, and he's still got it. It's Venta, actually, I think, on that far side, who's played in by Campbell, and it's a challenge, goes in for Aberdeen, and Morris has it. Aberdeen look to spring the counter. McGrath just inside his own half. He's closed down, facing his own goal, gives it to Jensen, then he moves it out to McGarry on this left-hand side. Duke on the left wing in the Hibs half. He's one-on-one with Miller, some distance to go to goal. He's made up the yards to the edge of the box, though. He's now inside the penalty area, left-hand side. Cross cleared back out to this left-hand side to McGrath. Gives it to McGarry. Throws in a little shimmy, trying to work space for the cross on the left foot, but it's Jimmy Jego who defends well. Infield to Barron, looks for Miofsky inside the penalty area, blocked. Jego goes back to Fish, who clears downfield. Jensen wins the header. McGrath controls on the left touchline. He's put his body in between the ball and Dylan Venta, and he's bought the free kick.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy, but again, good work from Duke down the left-hand side. Miller really struggling, though. You know, do you not think, you know, maybe get one of your centre-backs over and actually push them inside into
I'm just
more
looking
bodies,
at the bench
midfield
to see if they've got another right back. But we were saying at half-time, it's the tactics, what happens at half-time.
Yeah.
We'd all agree that Hibs were a better team. Probably, I'm honest enough to say it, I think Aberdeen's been a better team second half.
Yeah.
McGarry and Barron over this free kick on the left hand side. It's going to be the left foot of McGarry. It's not a great one, and it's cleared at the second attempt by Hibernian. Yuan's going to come away with it, and he's playing it out to Stevenson, who's on his bike, and it's just Stevenson and Shinnie, and he's played it into Martin Boyle, who's in behind the Aberdeen defence. Red shirts get back and recover, and what a tackle that is from Graham Shinnie on the edge of the box, and offside. The flag goes up. It was offside against Martin Boyle in any case. Douglas Ross, the linesman on this near side with a belated flag.
See that in terms of rule, because you know it's a lunge to tackle to get the tackle.
Yeah.
They could get hurt. The Boyle could get hurt. Shinnie could get, and yet it's offside. Pick your flag up.
Yeah.
I cannot work that out.
They won't.
Right, let's go to Tynecastle for an update with Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, 62 minutes in the clock, still Hearts 0, Motherwell 1. Hearts much better though in the second half. Tagawa with a header just over the bar, and then Shankland, after being played in by Devlin, looked net bound, however was deflected over. Motherwell was still very dangerous indeed. Blair Spittle had a shot that was just inches wide off the target. Still Hearts 0, Motherwell 1.
Thanks, Brian. Aberdeen are making some changes. Esther Sockler is finally been given the call to come on. He replaces Shaden Morris, who's clearly hurt himself after coming on at the break, and Connor Barron, on only his second start of the year, goes off, gets a pat on the head from Barry Robson, shake of the hand from Steve Agnew, and Leighton Clarkson is on the pitch to try and make something happen for Aberdeen. And told pre-match by Barry Robson he's carrying a bit of a calf knock potentially, so we'll see how that holds up as Aberdeen play that free kick from the Boyle offside. Out short, McDonald, and Clarkson lets it run across his body, and his brilliant play in the end, and he's pinged it out to Duke on this left hand side, who again is running at Miller. He's up to the edge of the box. Duke, he's twisting and turning away from Miller. He's got by the defender. No, he hasn't. Miller got back with a really strong foot, and he's nudged it out for a corner.
Yeah, well done, Lewis Miller. You know it's coming, you know they're getting the ball to Duke. Aberdeen see that's the way they've got to win the match, and I says earlier on he needs to stand up to it, and great defending, well done.
62 played here at Pittodrie. Still Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0. Both sides searching for that first league victory of the season. Clarkson to take the corner with a right foot for Aberdeen. It's into the near post. Hibs get a head onto the edge of the box. It's out to McGarry, who slips as he takes the shot.
What a
and
save!
It was saved by Marshall. Clawed it away. It was heading on target. Big save from the Hibs goalkeeper.
Was it McGarry that had the shot?
Yeah.
What's happened? It's actually took a deflection. It's took the sting out of it, but it's still gone in the top corner. That gave Marshall a chance to go and get to it, and to be fair to him, what a great save.
It's kind of a spin
It's
off
spinning,
a leg, isn't it? And it's taking the pace out of it, but what a save it is from David Marshall.
Another corner with the right foot from Clarkson. It's right on top of Marshall. Hibs cleared it, but only into the edge of the 6-yard box. Duke goes up. Jensen's in there with us. McGrath helps it back in with a head. Marshall has to punch to the edge of the area. It's finally hooked clear by Lewis Stevenson. Boyle plucks it out the sky. He's jinked away from Shinnie, and he's played it round to Josh Campbell, who's surging up to the edge of the Aberdeen box. McGrath gets back. The cross from Campbell is cut out by Clarkson. Good tracking back from the Aberdeen midfield. Excellent counter-attacking from Hibs, and they're not done. Here goes Stevenson on the left-hand side, stands up the cross, which is taking a deflection behind for a corner to Hibernian.
Yeah, Shinnie's a lucky boy, because on that break he tried to take Martin Boyle out. But Aberdeen need to watch it. That's been a couple of times they've been on top from a corner, and Hibs have broken them. But great play from Hibs. You know, they've got that pace in their team, and when they get that pace in their team and you break on, it's hard to go and catch them. And Boyle there, you know, showed a great pair of legs, and unlucky.
That's why you've got to be organised.
Yeah.
Organised for the counter, and Hibs will have a chance to deliver. Newell's corner, edge of the 6-yard box. It's Duke who goes up and gets a good header away out of the Aberdeen penalty area. Josh Campbell collects, and he's fired it back to Lewis Stevenson, but it's a loose pass, and Stevenson has to scamper after it, and he's under no pressure, and he's put it back long with the left foot. Jensen is under it. It's not a great header from the Aberdeen centre half. Campbell collects, gives it to Miller, who tries to turn round McGarry, but Aberdeen defender got a foot on it, puts it out for a throw-in, and it looks like we're going to have a Hibs change here as the referee David Renault halts proceedings, and it's Adam Lafondra who is being prepared to come on for Hibernian. He's got a couple of goals in the Premiership already this season, a veteran striker on to try and make a difference, and it's going to be Josh Campbell, who, despite netting 5 against Aberdeen last season, is going to come off without a goal here this afternoon, and Adam Lafondra is going to go and join Dylan Vente up front.
Lafondra will go up top, and I think Vente will just drop into that sort of number 10 role. It might not, but Lafondra's got a bit about him. His experience, and he works very, very hard. He's a real hard worker.
Goalless here at Pittodrie, 65.5 minutes played in this Premiership encounter, as Miller's throw is too heavy for all of his teammates, and it goes right behind for a goal kick. And it's been a bit of the good and the bad from Lewis Miller in this game. He's had some good defensive moments, but
even on that, Thomas, Miller's throws a ball. If you can throw it right into the box, you know, you get it, use it. That's your tool, use it. You know, that long throw, and get it fizzed right into the box.
Here's Jago for Hibs. He's running across halfway, but he's coming over to the right hand side, and then his pass for Boyle is far too much, and it goes straight out for an Aberdeen throw. McGarry nudges it in to Jensen. Aberdeen with just 2 points from their opening 3 games, Hibs with none. The worst start for 21 years Hibernian in the opening 3 games. As it stands, they're heading for a point on the board at least, but they'd like more. And that's Sockler's header from the long ball straight to the feet of Jimmy Jago. Goes back to Miller, who drives infield up towards the centre circle. He's in the centre circle, nudges it out to Hanlon, who shows and goes, and then tries to switch out to Boyle, who's lurking on the shoulder of McGarry, and he's going to get there. Martin Boyle keeps it in with a head, and he tries to go round McGarry, who's deflected it and then played it off him for a throw-in. It's good defending from the Aberdeen left back.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? You know, he had to make sure that he got it right. Boyle's that threat, and you can't allow him to get goal side of you, that's for sure. And McGarry kept his eye on the ball and actually very intelligently won the throw-in.
McGarry is asking for someone to drop in. Hibs also, this is as solid as they've looked all season defensively. Not that it's been perfect, but no clean sheets so far. And they've picked up the ball 25 yards from the Aberdeen goal. Lafondra plays it backwards to Stevenson, who's come in field. Left-footed pass out to the left wing. Eli Yuan, he's one-on-one with Nicky Devlin. He's come inside on the right foot, but that one's wild. I don't know if he was trying to whip that to the back post or bend it into the top corner, but it sailed into the Merkland stand.
Yeah, yes, give him.
Let's go to Brian McLaughlin for an update at Tynecastle.
Yeah, Motherwell still leading by 1-0, but they'll have to play the last 22 minutes with just 10 men. Paul McGinn, his second yellow and a red shown by referee Grant Irvin. Was a tussle down the left-hand side with Liam Boyce. There looked to be nothing in it, to be fair. However, the referee deemed it was certainly deemed a second yellow, and Motherwell down to 10.
Motherwell with goal advantage, aiming to hang on and go joint top of the Premiership with Celtic after their win in the Old Firm derby earlier, courtesy of Kyogo's goal. It brought you that one live on Sports Sound here at Pittodrie. It's Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0 as Boyle picks it up just on the edge of the centre circle. He's driving towards the Aberdeen box. Gives it on to Yuan on the left-hand side. Boyle gets it back on the corner of the box. He's got a bit of space. Drives in field to the edge of the D, and then he loses out, and then it's a pass forward towards Shinnie, and Aberdeen will get the free kick for a foul on Esther Sockler in any case. 0-0.
Yeah, he just ran out of space, didn't he? Aberdeen doing well, getting bodies back there, as Boyle did really well, you know, to tussle in one possession and then drive forward. He tried to link up with Yuhan, but you know, eventually just ran out of space, and Aberdeen filling the gaps and not allowing them the space to enter into.
Kilroos plays it long to the left-hand side. Miller gets across and heads it into the stand ahead of Duke. Well, Aberdeen really like a victory heading into the international break. They're away to Tynecastle on the return, then at home to good Ross County side in the league, then away to Ross County in the midweek in the League Cup quarter-final, and they've got Rangers before the end of the month at Ibrox, so it's a tough schedule coming up for Aberdeen. That's why they really need to start picking up points or victories in any case, as Jego plays that off Jamie McGrath, earns Hibs a goal kick.
It looks like Doidge is coming on for Hibs. Yeah, that is Doidge.
It is, yeah. It's very tight though here, isn't it? I mean, difficult one to call at this stage. Aberdeen, I thought started the second half really well, but you know, Hibs have slowly began to take a little bit more control, John.
As we say as well, it's going to be a bit of magic. Usually a goal is a bit of magic. It's going to somebody just to come up with a good unlock that door. There you go, and it could be the match winner. The two teams are very, very close.
Venta heads it. He was looking for Boyle, but it's bounced for McGarry, who lets it bounce another couple of times and then plays it up the line to Shinnie, but he's overpowered by Miller, and then he trips the Hibs fullback, and Graham Shinnie, almost inevitably felt at some point this afternoon, goes in the referee's notebook.
Yeah, the two have been at it all game. Shinnie, never shy away from it, Graham Shinnie. That's one thing about him, he's all action. That's why he's a captain of Aberdeen. Absolutely fantastic, getting him back to the club last year and keeping him here this year.
And Christian George is being readied. He scored the only goal for Hibs May 2021, the last time they won here at Pittodrie, as Jack Ross's side then, as it then was, secured third spot. He's going to come on and try and do just that, nick a winner, and it's going to be Dylan Venta, who has been quiet, you have to say, John.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more from him, but he's still finding his feet, you know. But big Doidge here, he'll come in on here, he'll give you a more physical presence. Anything in that box, he'll make sure it's getting contested. So a good substitution.
3 goals already this season, a couple of assists as well, so he's been effective, given he was on his way out the door, it appeared, at Hibs. Here's Newell's free kick, left foot into the box, Shinnie's header at the edge. Clarkson controls, looks for Duke, midway through his own half. Duke, he's crowded out. That's brilliant work from Paul Hanlon. He's won it, and it's broken for Lafondra on the right hand side. Gets the right footed cross in, glanced away over to the other side by Jensen, as Doidge lurked at the back stick. It's played up for Sockler under pressure from Jego. He's facing his own goal. He needs support from a teammate, but Hibs are crowding round him. Stevenson and Jego are across, and they win the throw-in. The fans here at Pittodrie, home fans, frustrated at that one that no one showed for Esther Sockler. Hibs have a throw-in.
Just looking back at Duke, he needs to link the ball a little bit. He wants to hold on it and use his body. He needs to link it and move at times, Willie, doesn't he? It's like a one-man band.
Yeah, he doesn't do that too often. He doesn't link too often. It's a solo performance.
Here's Miller. Gives it into Boyle, who's clipped by McGarry. Goes down, gets the free kick. Just used his experience there, Martin Boyle, and pace to nip in front of McGarry. And it was a slight clip from the Aberdeen defender, but he did clip him. Boyle goes over, and it's going to be a free kick about 25, 30 yards from goal, in line with the right-hand corner of the box. But both sides have had quite a lot of set pieces and not done an awful lot with them so far.
But I've just got a sneaky feeling. Oh.
And they try and go short, and Duke's there, but he slipped as Boyle is all over the back of him. And then Duke manages to recover well and clear downfield because Boyle was ready to pounce.
I was going to say a sneaky feeling if Hibs are going to score, it's going to be for a set piece and they go and play it short and don't put it in the box.
Marshall clears it long. Goalless, 73 played here between Aberdeen and Hibernian in this Premiership match. Motherwell leading Hearts, 10-man Motherwell leading Hearts by a goal to nil at Tynecastle. Celtic with a victory earlier at Ibrox by a goal to nil. So all the games tight on this Sunday. A couple of draws yesterday as well, late drama. Fantastic weekend of Premiership action. Is there going to be a winner here as Jensen crosses halfway for Aberdeen, gives it to McGarry on the touchline, long ball forward into the channel for Shinnie to chase. Miller with a challenge, Shinnie flops over, doesn't get the free kick. It comes back to McGarry, bounces for Clarkson, who's nudged it over for Miofsky, but it was always asking a lot. Very pacey pass for Miofsky, high at his head almost, and now Stevenson dribbles up the left-hand touchline. He's across halfway for Hibs, gives it to Yuan, who's going to drive infield. Red shirts trying to get to him, gives it to Doidge, gets it back, then Doidge picks up after an Aberdeen tackle. There's Jimmy Jego in the centre circle. Newell back to Fish as Hibernian look to build again, and their fans over behind the fence in the south stand sing for their team. They want to see a winner. And Doidge is going to chase this lost cause. Is he going to keep it in? He is, just on the byline. Right hand side of the box, he's crossed it to Newell, who's laid it off to Lafondra! Stunning goal from Adam Lafondra! Hibernian capitalise on this sleeping Aberdeen defence. Doidge fetches, crosses, Newell lays it, and Lafondra lashes it beyond Kellerus. And it's Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 1.
Thomas, everything they say is in terms of Big Doidge, he'll give you a different, you know, he brings something different to the table. And it was just a lost cause here. He just chased it, prepared. That's what he's all about. He chases lost causes, he puts himself about, chased a lost cause here, and he just caught it on the line, whipped it back, and it was set up to Lafondra. Yeah, he didn't half finish for it. Well, a fantastic strike.
I mean, it is a really good goal. It's a well worked goal, but it's a goal that could be stopped because Aberdeen two centre backs switch off. You know, the ball comes on, it's flicked on. They think it's going to go out for the goal kick. They switch off. You know, they allow the house player to get to the byline, and you know, when it's put in, and Newell's little touch forward, it's a fantastic strike. Little touch back the park, fantastic strike. Kellerus, no chance whatsoever. Well worked goal, but Aberdeen defensively, I think, questions asked.
What a substitution for David Gray. Two substitutes make the goal. Fantastic.
Dante Bovara is on for Aberdeen. Graham Shinnie, the captain, is off. And Hibernian, their fans bounce up and down in the south stand now. They're enjoying their day in the Granite City. All of a sudden, they're heading towards their first Premiership victory of the season. Still 14 minutes plus whatever is added to make sure of that, but it would be a huge win for them, it really would. And David Gray, if he does want the job on a full-time basis, this would do him no harm. Aberdeen, well, they will leapfrog Aberdeen onto 3 points. Aberdeen with just a 2 on the board, still searching for their first win. Can they mount a comeback here? And Hibs with a throw in their own half. Lewis Miller with a ball in his arms, flings it up to Doidge. Jensen wins the header, but Newell picks up seconds just inside the Aberdeen half. It's out to Stevenson on the left hand side, and suddenly Hibs with their tails up, out to Yuan. Devlin's there. Yuan puts a few stepovers in and then nips away inside from Devlin, but there was a covering Esther Sockler who got the challenge in. Hibs have it back with Newell. Pauses again, and then his pass is hit off Dante Bovara, and Aberdeen recycle. Here's Clarkson, and he's looked for the forward run of either Miofsky, McGrath or Duke, but it was straight to Will Fish. And Hibernian come away as Boyle spins away from McGarry, who got back and forces Boyle back towards his own goal. He's still got it, Martin Boyle hands it on to Miller, back to Fish in his own half, who then goes back to David Marshall. And Hibernian don't have to rush anymore. They have the lead. Wonderful goal from Adam Lafondra in 75 minutes. That's the difference between the sides at the moment. McDonald controls. inside the centre circle for Aberdeen. Right-footed pass to Polvara in the Hibs half. Out towards the left-hand side in Clarkson. Now to the touchline in Duke. He's up against Miller. Slowly rolls the ball over his foot, goes to the edge of the box. Polvara's waiting, tries to shot with the right foot, but that was always sailing well wide of David Marshall's left-hand post.
Yeah, I mean, you can see what Polvara's trying to do there, get onto the right foot, curl it into the top corner. But for me, I just think Duke, he's coming off now. I think he's run his course, isn't he? He didn't have that directness in the last 10 minutes or so, and Aberdeen are making that change.
Yeah, it's Pape Abigay, the signing from KV Kortrijk, on for his debut. 16 goals and 84 appearances over 4 seasons. Played in Norway, Alsund as well, and he's going to replace Duke, part of Aberdeen's attacking options this season. And he goes up and wins his first header, and then Hibs regain the ball. Doidge right on the right-hand touchline, plays it forward. Jensen heads it away, but Newell picks up out to the left. Stevenson, a couple of yards forward, shifts it to Yuan, who's been pretty lively this afternoon at Pittodrie. Stevenson, Newell thinks it up in the air. Fondra's peeled out wonderfully to the left-hand side, picks up, pursued by Polvara, gives it back to Yuan on the touchline. Left-footed cross, McDonald clears, but it's a heavy touch, and then it's dinked towards goal by Lafondra, and Kellerus had to nudge it over the bar.
Yeah, Lafondra just jumped on McDonald's touch here, and it was stuck under his feet. Just done enough just to dink it, try to go for the top corner, and he's working the goalkeeper. He's looked lively when, I know he's got his goal, but he's looked lively when he's come on, Lafondra.
Has indeed 3 goals in the Premiership this season for Adam Lafondra. Got one against St Mirren opening day, made an impact there. He's got so much experience, a good goal record. Corner from the left for Hibs. It's up there, it's off the bar. Doidge clatters the crossbar. Miller goes up, it's still not clear. Doidge again, and it's in the back of the net. Hibs celebrate. David Gray hugs his staff. The players embrace each other in front of the Merklin stand. 2 goals in the space of 5 minutes has Hibernian heading for their first victory of the Premiership season. It's Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 2.
Thomas, I didn't want to say it, but I've said it, he'll bring a whole different challenge to the team. He had a hard time last year. The previous manager didn't fancy him, put him out on loan to Kilmarnock. He's come back. He had a terrible injury, Big Doidge, with Achilles. He's really worked hard to get back to it, and that was absolutely fantastic, because the first one that come in, he's head and shoulders above everybody to head it, hit the crossbar, and when it's come back in, great finish.
Yeah, it was. I think the initial header is really impressive. He's so unlucky to see it coming off the bar. Then he's got to think about his positioning. Then, John, after that, you can switch off when you have a chance like that as a striker. I used to be one, and when you head the ball and it comes off the bar, you switch off. He didn't switch off. He just got himself into an important position. When it came back in, he's just picked the spot perfectly and dispatched it into the back of the net.
And he's took a cut to the head for all his troubles. But what you say is, well, it's one of the big ones. He needs to be picked up. But that's what I'm saying with Hibs earlier on. I fancy them to score for a set piece because they've got a great physicality in there.
Aberdeen kick off, and Doidge is still off in front of us, getting treatment. What a start to the season for him. 3 goals now, and the Hibs fans are the ones enjoying their Sunday afternoon in the sunshine in Aberdeen. And it's going to be Aberdeen who will be leapfrogged unless they can produce a miracle in the final 8 minutes plus stoppage time. They're coming forward here up to the edge of the box. Sockler turned but lost the ball, and now Hibs are picking up everything as Boyle looks for the run of Doidge, but it's too far ahead of the striker, who's just trotted back onto the pitch, and Jensen will pick up. And Aberdeen, having started the second half fairly brightly, have fallen out of this game, and they are trailing by 2-0. Hibernian. 2 very fine goals from Lafondra and Doidge, the substitutes, completely turned this game.
there's no doubt about that. And Aberdeen can look at themselves defensively and ask questions. There's no doubt about that as well. But Hibs have turned it around. They've made really positive substitutions, and the substitutions have turned this game around.
Miller's throw up towards Doidge, but McGarry is in the way. Heads Clarkson. McGrath round the corner looking for Gay, who has fouled Miller, says the referee David Monroe. But Willie as well, Aberdeen, they're going to have to get to grips with this Thursday-Sunday thing in terms of the season ahead. Hibs have and Hearts have struggled, but they don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, well, it's no surprise though as well. It's no surprise that you've got to deal with it. They've added to the squad as well. It's not as if they've got of injuries either to point to that they can't shuffle the pack and make use of the squad that they've put together. Unfortunately for Barry, a lot of these players are just through the door, and I'm sure that he'll be using that as a reason, maybe not an excuse, but a reason. But they haven't been that far ahead of Hibs. In fact, Hibs, have deserved to be in the lead.
Newell's free kick with a left foot, headed away by Aberdeen. Boyle then picks up the seconds, but he was falling backwards as he headed it, and it's gone out for a throw-in on this near side. Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 2, as we approach the 84th minute here at Pittodrie. The Edinburgh side closing in on that first win of the season in the league, and a first win at Pittodrie in 5 attempts, only a second in 15 attempts, and they've been excellent in the second half as Yuan just about robs Polvara, got away with it in the end, and it's cleared forward. Here's Gay, picks up just inside the Hibs half, and he runs towards the box and he's tripped, and it's a yellow card for Joe Newell. Aberdeen free kick. Joe Newell taking one for the team there.
Yeah, exactly that, Thomas.
And Aberdeen, well, they need the late show if they're even going to get a point out of this one. 84.5 played. Leighton Clarkson with a free kick, 30 yards from goal. Bang in the middle of the pitch, he's dinked it in. Jensen goes up, gets a header on it, but it sails harmlessly behind for a Hibernian goal kick, and David Marshall will be in no rush to get this one launched up the pitch.
Yeah, of course, it is possible. I can vouch for that. I was at the St Johnstone Dundee game yesterday, and they managed to, St Johnstone managed out the blue, totally out the blue, managed to get a draw from that. But I don't know, Aberdeen are looking a little bit dispirited out there, I would suggest, a little bit leggy.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the saves that Marshall's had second half, of the one in the top corner, and then after that, no much after that.
Yeah, an important save.
Yep, that was McGarry's deflected shot that he had to claw away, but as the guys have said, Aberdeen not had much in the way of chances since. Hibernian have stuck the ball in the net twice in the space of 5 minutes. Here come Aberdeen though. Sockler's header, and Fish returns it. Clarkson picks up, he's played it out to Devlin, who's in the field, out towards the right hand side, gives it to Polvara, wants it back, Devlin, but the pass from Polvara is extremely poor, and it's cut out easily by Hibs and sent down the pitch all the way to Kellarus. And Aberdeen will have to start again, trailing by 2-0 as we approach the 86th minute on the clock here at Pittodrie. Hibernian, what a big boost it'll be if they go on to secure all 3 points, get themselves off the foot of the table, leapfrog Aberdeen. Hearts trailing to Motherwell as well, 10-man Motherwell at the moment, holding on. We'll update you if anything happens there with Brian McLaughlin. For the moment, Jensen has the ball, left foot, and it's bobbled about in the Hibs box, but again there's red shirts in there but nowhere near the ball, and David Marshall will just flop onto it. Let's get an update from Tynecastle with Brian.
Yeah, 3 minutes left for play, and it's still Hearts 0, 10-man Motherwell 1. That goal coming on the half-hour mark from Slattery, but Hearts 86 minutes, their first shot on target, Lawrence Shankland straight at Liam Kelly though in the Motherwell goal. 3 minutes left, Hearts trailing 1-0.
What a huge result that would be for Motherwell. Such an impressive team since Stuart Kettlewell came in. What a job he has done. Still work to do in the capital though, as there is for Hibernian, but their cushion is 1 goal greater, leading Aberdeen by 2-0, and Miller gives away the free kick just inside the Aberdeen half. But Willie, as you said, Aberdeen, just the body language is not as much urgency as you were perhaps like.
No, I would expect more urgency, sharper passing, a little bit more commitment, but it gets difficult as well because Hibs are just quite happy to sit back now. They don't have to do much to see this game out, and they're asking the question from Aberdeen, can Aberdeen find something in these dying moments to change their fortune.
Doidge has laid it off to Lafondra, who's lashed it through for Youan to chase. Excellent pace by Nicky Devlin to get there ahead of Youan. It shows you that he's no slouch at all, the Aberdeen defender, because Youan is rapid. He got there first, but it's up the other end that Aberdeen need the ball. Hibernian sitting in their shape, very comfortable. Down the line by McGarry. Miofsky round the corner, outside of the boot cross from Clarkson to the back post. It doesn't reach Sockler because Stevenson and Hanlon are there to deal with it.
Good defending with Stevenson, as you do. You get tucked in behind your centre half. Anything on that back post, it's your job.
Here's McGrath on the right hand side in the field for Devlin. He's going to loft across him with the right foot towards Gay and Miofsky, but it's over both of them, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. Aberdeen 0, Hibs 2. 88 minutes played at Pittodrie. Hibs on course for a big win.
Well, it's huge for Hibs, isn't it? I mean, the way they've started the season, losing their manager as well, interim manager in David Gray. He must be totally delighted with the response he's got.
It needed a victory. That'll give them time to settle it down, give them time to assess what they're doing, assessment, what do we need to do, and give them time to look for that new manager.
Well, they've got Kilmarnock away after the international break, then St Johnstone at home, St Mirren at home in the League Cup quarter-final, finished the month at home to Dundee. So, well, if you're a Hibs fan, you're looking at that and saying they're winnable games. It's never as easy as that, of course, but it's a chance to get a run together.
And it's important, Thomas, because if you look at the next one for October, it's Rangers, Celtic, Hearts.
Exactly. So they need to get points on the board. Here's Kelroos with the ball. He's out his box. Gives it to McDonald, the centre half. Aberdeen, not much movement in front of McDonald. Now look a beaten side as we head into the final minute of the 90. Long ball easily cut out by Miller, and Diego heads it on. Lafondra off the chest. He's been outstanding since he came on, not least scoring that wonderful goal to break the deadlock on 75 minutes. And it's a throw in now.
You're talking about Lafondra, you're talking about a guy at 36, but when you look at his frame and his physicality, that wouldn't be a problem to him at that age.
He's really sharp across the first few yards.
That, and as I says to you, the feedback I get from all my friends at Hibs, he wants to work, he wants to put a shift in.
Yeah, Adam Lafondra is already proving an astute signing. And there the board goes up. 7 minutes of added time. So if that doesn't stir Aberdeen, I don't know what will. They have 7 minutes to salvage a point. Hibs 7 minutes to see out what would be a huge victory for them, their first of the Premiership season. Miller's throw-in straight onto the head of McGarry though. Then Miofsky, who knocks it down for Clarkson. First time pass up to Gay, but it's easily headed. First time by Diego out for an Aberdeen throw-in. Hibs have looked comfortable, you have to say, since scoring their goals. McGarry goes back to Kelroos, the goalkeeper, along with the right foot. Miofsky and Gay are running after it, as is Lewis Miller, who gets there first and slides to knock it out for a throw-in on the near side. Maybe a chance for Aberdeen to just fling this in the box and force Hibs to do some defending.
I think it's simple stuff now, isn't it? And you keep your fingers crossed. It's more hope than anything else that Aberdeen are banking on, just trying to get Hibs turn a little bit, maybe a creative, but that might come now.
And Polvara's cross, and it's hit Miller on the chest and behind for a corner. He stayed down, Miller. Took a sore one. Don't know if that's theatrical to try and make out that it's not hit his hand. I don't know, it's thudded off his chest, maybe his face. He's still down, Lewis Miller. And we are beyond the 90. Nearly a couple in to the 7 minutes that are added here at Pittodrie. Hibs leading Aberdeen by 2-0. 2 goals in 5 minutes from Fondra and Doidge, the substitutes. Corner comes in and well taken indeed by David Marshall.
Everything you want from your goalkeeper, right? It just takes the pressure right off. That's mine. Boom, everybody just relax.
And he does that thing all goalkeepers do, is just flops down after he's claimed it. Eats up a few more seconds, as he absolutely should. And he's got the ball in his hands and he's going to launch it forward with the right foot. Hibernian heading for their first win in the Premiership this season, and they've picked up the ball with Diego just outside the centre circle. Fired for Youan on this left hand side. He's going to have a little go at Devlin. He's into the box. Youan, left footed cross, easily gathered by Roos, who rolls it out quickly to Clarkson. He's immediately under pressure from Lafondra to McGarry. Out to Gay on this left hand side. Little shimmy, tries to go around Miller, who's battled back really strongly and got the free kick. And
yeah, I'll say it again, Lewis Miller, absolutely fantastic. He really has stuck to his task, because we were questioning one-on-one with Johan, with Duke earlier on.
Yeah.
You know, we were questioning that, and he stuck to it, so, you know, all credit to him.
Yeah, because it could have hit his confidence, because he was taken in a number of occasions by Duke as well, but he didn't give up. Yeah, he's just stuck to his task. He's a big physical presence as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 6'2". Yep.
Yeah.
throw into Aberdeen on the far side. They need a miracle in the final few minutes of stoppage time if they want to get then what would be their 3rd point of the season. 2 draws on that defeat to Celtic on the record so far, and they're heading for defeat on their own patch here. Not won at Pittodrie in their 2 games this season against Celtic and Hacken. It looks like they're heading for another home defeat. And here's Clarkson, nudges it forward with the right foot. Sockler makes the run. Polvara tries to head it towards Miofsky. Diego picks up the loose ball and then is able to put it out and just eat up a few more seconds. Hibs have looked more solid, heading for a first clean sheet of the season as well. Unless Aberdeen can find something here. Devlin up to the edge of the box. Miofsky gives it back to Devlin. He's in the box, tries to cross. Diego's there. Good recovery from the midfielder to get back and clear. And Aberdeen with the throw in on the far side, running out of time. Game all but gone. Jensen in the centre circle, the Finnish defender. Left foot, he's gone long. Headed away by Hanlon. Polvara tries to control in the chest, but Lafondra's working ever so hard, and then he goes down holding his face, but it's play on. Devlin on the right hand side, he's wanting options. McGrath makes the run. Devlin goes on the left foot but then goes short to Polvara. Back to Devlin on the right hand side, cross blocked up in the air on the edge of the box. Polvara wins the header. It's back to Jensen, who's high up in the Hibs half. 1-2 with Clarkson, but it's not the best, and Doidge got in with a really strong challenge, and he's actually won the throw in off Jensen. Fantastic stuff from Christian Doidge. What an impact.
No, it was brilliant, at this stage as well. The striker coming back and working tirelessly to make sure that his team aren't under pressure, and managing to get the challenge in. It's a good tackle, isn't it?
For the life of me, I don't know why Lee Johnston didn't fancy him. He's not the best, he's not the quickest, technically no great, but he does his job. You're a centre half, you know you've been in a game with it.
Jensen up the line for Aberdeen, up towards halfway. Miofsky's flick on, but Gay ran in the other direction from where the ball was heading, and Hanlon just strolled across and puts it on the roof of the main stand at Pittodrie. As Aberdeen, well, are not going to rescue it from here. You would have to say 2 goals in what must just be a minute of the 7 added. Jensen with the left foot goes long, looking for Sockler, who tries to control it on the body, but it runs away from him. Now Lafondra in the corner to Yuan. Polvara wins it off Yuan in the centre circle. Devlin to McGrath, moves out to the left hand side. McGarry's made a run, he's up to the corner of the box with a left footed cross, hangs it high to the back post, but it's extremely comfortable for David Marshall, and that just about sums up Aberdeen in this second half, really. Not enough cutting edge, and Hibernian are heading towards a big victory. Huge victory for David Gray. He takes a swig of his water in front of us. And the Hibs fans over on the far side, they're going to be the ones singing come full time as fans in red head for the exits here at Pittodrie. Goal kick long. McGarry lets it bounce. It's out for a throw in. He'll try and go quickly, and then the referee tells him to wait. McGarry doesn't really have an option. Polvara eventually comes across, receives it. He's in his own half though, and Lafondra, so sharp, nips in and wins the throw in off McGarry. And Hibs will just eat up a few more seconds.
They've looked beaten for some time, I think, Aberdeen, last 10 minutes. Since the second goal went in, I think they've looked beaten. They haven't responded to it at all. They haven't really tested the Hibs, and you've got to say that the visitors have came up here. They played extremely well throughout the game. Aberdeen have had their moments, but I think Hibs go away deserved victors.
Motherwell have claimed a huge victory at Tynecastle, down to 10 men for the last 20 minutes or so. They've held on. And there is the full-time whistle. Boos at Pittodrie. The Hibs fans are on their feet. They're cheering their team. It's a huge victory for David Gray and Hibernian Football Club. Their first of the Premiership season, and it was the substitutes that made the difference. Lafondra combining wonderfully with Newell in the box and lashing beyond Kel Roos on 75 minutes to break the deadlock. It was a lively game, and Hibs 5 minutes later effectively put it to bed. Deutsch hit the bar with a header. The ball came back in. He was still lurking in the right place, and another header into the far corner, back across goal to double Hibernian's lead. Aberdeen never really looked like getting back into it at that point. They are still searching for their first league win of the season, but what a boost for Hibernian. It's finished here at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 2.
The Scottish